everybody! Hi! Oh, whoops, this is the wrong thing. Hold up. This is the Twitch thing. We ain't doing Twitch today. Here we go. Hello everybody! Hi! Welcome to the stream. Did I do that last week? I think I did that last time I did this. Oh well. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Anyway, hi everyone. Welcome to the stream. Anthony Tabaras Jr., hello. And Jesse OJ and Jeff Maxlum. Hello everybody. Hope you're having a good one. Chat test 1, 2. Chat is working. Definitely chat is working. Read any more One Piece? I have not. I have not read any more One Piece. My deepest condolences. How are you not, like, fuming angry at me by this point? I keep saying I'll do it and then I never do it. How do you have the patience to keep asking? If it were me, I would have, like, rage quit ages ago. Like, impressive. Anyway. Hey, Jesse OJ, your TV screen is not working. The left side is darkened? That sounds like an issue. Yeah, that's unusual. Usually when TVs go dark, it's the whole TV, not just half of it. So, I would suggest having somebody take... I don't know anything about TVs. I don't even know if that can be fixed. But best of luck. Hope it manages to work out. Anyway, welcome everybody to the stream. I got a couple announcements. So, some of them aren't really relevant to YouTube, but whatever. I'm going to make the announcements anyway. Well, actually, one is relevant to YouTube. There might not be a YouTube stream next week. I'm on the fence about it because you'd hunt me down and shove the manga in my face. You know where I am. I'm out in space. So you actually can't get to me without firing yourself off in a rocket ship. So, haha, I am safely out of your grasp. But on the plus side, I don't even know my coordinates, so I couldn't tell you even if I knew. You have your Chromebook and phone is back up. Hey, there you go. There you go. At least you're not completely out of options. You know, it could be worse. Could be a lot worse. But it's still pretty bad. Best of luck. Hope it works out. Anyway. So, over on Twitch, I've hit 500 follows, which is a big deal. So there's going to be a huge, big old celebration over on Twitch next week. I have something... One of the streams, I have something really big planned. We'll see how that goes. But I was thinking of having a Twitch stream on Thursday instead of the usual YouTube one to celebrate the 500 follows. So that is maybe what might end up happen. Hope you get raided by space pirates. Oh boy, I hope they're the ones from Ratchet and Clank. They don't seem very competent. If it's a big raiding party of orcs though, then I don't know. I'm gonna be in trouble. Anyway, yeah. So I might end up. I haven't decided for sure yet. It could still have something over on YouTube. But I guess at the end of the day, YouTube is just not as active as Twitch. I get a lot more people interacting over on Twitch. So I think just for next week, there's going to be another stream. The Thursday stream is going to be on Twitch because I have that big 500 follow special week planned. So I got some ideas for stuff that's gonna be done. There's 4 days, right? I got 3 ideas. I'm just trying to brainstorm for a 4th idea. But one of them is gonna be a karaoke stream. And on that karaoke stream, I have something very special planned. If you guys have been around since the first time I sang karaoke for a milestone, you'll know that I planned a little mini surprise. Not really surprise. I planned a little mini thing for that I still haven't uploaded to YouTube as its own separate thing yet because anyway, next topic. Anyway, I have another thing that I'm trying to work on for the karaoke stream. Hopefully I'll have it done by the time that there is going to be karaoke. Yes, next week there's going to be karaoke. I haven't figured out which day it's going to be. It's probably going to be Saturday or Sunday, one of those 2 days. But there is going to be a karaoke stream. Yes, and I'm planning something big for that. Hopefully, I'll have it ready by then. That's why I'm pushing it off towards the end of the week, so I have more time to work on it. But hopefully, I'll have it done by then. And if I don't have it done, I guess I'm just gonna, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna curl up in a puddle and die. That's what's gonna happen. But yeah. Oh yeah, since we're on the topic of karaoke, if you guys have songs that you would like to submit, feel free to submit them over on Twitter or Discord. If you guys have any video game songs or parody songs, those are my favorites. I think even if I don't know the song, I'd probably learn it if it's a funny song. Other than that, I'm probably only gonna sing songs I know. Like Disney songs. I think the karaoke is gonna be like, yeah, a good 70% Disney songs because everybody knows the Disney songs, myself included. But yeah, I'm willing to learn new songs if they're like funny or about Skyrim or something. I don't know. Probably, yeah. Yeah, there we go. That's the thing. If you guys have submissions, I'll take them. Video game songs. All right, cool. Yeah, feel free to submit them. I'll probably end up singing some World of Warcraft songs, even though I've never played World of Warcraft a day in my life, because they're pretty iconic. Like, oh, who are those two people on YouTube who I used to watch when I was like in high school all the time? Like, Charm and Silver Latomi, I think. I used to inhale their videos at an alarming rate. Oh my gosh. Da, 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 da. All right. I can't say no at this point. You've thrown money at my face. All right, I'll read some One Piece. I'll read it once I finish working on the karaoke project, because that's taking my priority. Once my karaoke project is done, I'll read One Piece. I'll read it, okay? I'll read it. Anyway, I think, is that all the news? No, it's not all the news. I have a collab with Mira Luna coming up. That's going to be end of November. We're gonna play a game that starts with an M, Magica? It starts with an M. I don't know what it is. He won't stop asking until I read it. No, that's the thing. That's the twist to this. Is One Piece has like 6 billion books and 2 billion episodes. So I could read it for like 2 days straight. And I'll be like, all right, I've read so much One Piece. I'm good. But there's still more One Piece. So he could keep saying, keep reading it, read more. Have you read more yet? And it'll still be a valid question. Anyway, thank you for the $3. Looks like I'm gonna be reading One Piece. Anyway, let's move on to actually talking about what's going on in the stream today. So, it's the story, as usual. We've been doing this every other week for the past couple months. We're going to be reading Seas Who Could Sing So Deep and Strong, written by heartslogos over on Archive of Our Own. Let me give you some refresher on the characters, or introduce the characters if you're new to them. So this takes place in the Warframe universe, and the two main characters are Judge, callsign Hades, and Kore, callsign Persephone. No! One Piece songs for my karaoke? I think, oh, would you look at the time? It's time for me to talk about the book. Anyway, so Judge and Kore are two Tenno. They're very close, and they are the two main characters. I usually read Judge in a low voice and Kore in a gravelly voice. I don't know if that counts as gravelly, but that's the closest I can get to gravelly, whatever. And then there are the two side characters, who are Jude, callsign Punk, not to be confused with Judge, which is actually how they met, is because Kore, no, that's not how they met. It's how they met the second time, was because Kore scrambled their names up and invited Jude to a mission when she meant to invite Judge. But yeah, Judge, callsign Punk, is a walking human disaster who is very good at sports. And then Joy, callsign Chic, is his partner who has excellent fashion sense and drags him through missions, I guess. She's great. And then you have the two characters who were added the most recently, which is the Alpha and the Empress, with the articles. The Alpha and the Empress. The Alpha is a very big, very tall, very scary, spooky guy who only speaks in monosyllabic sentences, and he's just a sweetie who loves dogs. He doesn't mean to be scary. He can't help it. He just has a big heart. And then the Empress, who is like the coolest. She's like the epitome of cool. If you condense cool down into like a black hole, you'll get the Empress. She's awesome, and she is good at missions and killing people very efficiently. All right, I think that is a very, very short recap on the characters. But that's them. Let's go into the story. Let me turn off this background music. Sudden disappearance of music now. It's sudden. It's gone. And we're gonna replace it with a crackling fire. Yay! Actually, can you guys even hear the fire? That's really soft. Let me turn up the sound just a little bit. Just a wee bit. Just a skosh. Oh, this is super quiet. There's no way you guys can hear this. Alright, let me keep clicking on all the buttons to get the sound up. Buttons have been pushed. Can you hear it? Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you... Is the fire actually hearable? Because it's really quiet on my end. And if it is hearable, is it okay in the background, or is my voice too loud? Is my voice too quiet? What's going on with the fire and the sound back over there? I might have to watch the stream to find out. Well, there is a delay on YouTube, so I'll just kill some time for a couple minutes. And what can I talk about? Oh, wait, I was gonna... It sound looks good on your end. Nice. Nice. Apparently, my Discord... My Discord used to be called Doom Central, and then it got renamed to, the Raccoon Free Zone. And apparently, in the description of all my YouTube videos, that hasn't been changed. It's been Doom Central this whole time, and nobody told me. I feel very sad. So it'll be changed to the Raccoon Free Zone from now on. So there you go. All right, cool. Let's tab over to the book. Let me rearrange the screen so I can see your lovely, lovely, lovely messages. That should be good. And let's read Sees Who Could Sing So Deep and Strong. All right, here it is. Sees Who Could Sing So Deep and Strong by Heartslogos. Chapter 105. Oh, right, I should probably say, we are on chapter 105, but don't worry, it is an episodic book, so if you leave for a chapter and then you come back a chapter later, as long as you are familiar with the characters, you're not going to really miss anything plot-wise, which is why I chose, well, okay, there's a lot of reasons why I chose to read this book on stream, but that's one of the reasons. And it's all very character-driven, so there's a lot of character development in this book, and the plot is just these guys hanging out and being awesome. You can rename your Discord to Nebulux's Throne Chamber. Interesting suggestion. I'm actually not super happy with Raccoon Free Zone because people... Okay, obviously, to me anyway, Raccoon Free Zone means no raccoons allowed. But apparently, the Denzians of the server decided that that means this is a place where raccoons can be free. So I'm trying to think of something to rename it to so I get less raccoon spam in there. But yeah, my brain has been empty. It is dry, like a dry sponge, except sponges hold water really well, so I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, I think the Throne Chamber is a little much. I think I'll pass on that one, but I am open to new names for it. All right, now let's actually read the book. Chapter 105. Corey's face down on a rock, her black scarf wrapped around her head, body sprawled out. Is she dead? Punk says. No, Judge says. Yes, Corey says, voice echoing from Nidus's voice scrambler next to her. Persephone and her clan had some sort of fight with another clan that was trying to take over their dojo, Judge says. They won, but all of them are exhausted. Percy has a clan? No, I was surprised too, Judge says. They don't talk, they never meet up. They do their best to stay as far away from each other as possible and try not to accidentally run into each other. But they've got a pretty advanced lab and really great facilities. I've been there a few times for trades. Doesn't that defeat the point of a clan? Well, apparently not, because it works really well for them. I think the only time they come together is when someone tries to take them over. It's only happened twice to Judge's knowledge. Corey and her like-minded clanmates all end up exhausted and scatter as far away from each other as fast as possible afterwards to recharge. Interacting with the other Tenno seems to be equally draining for all of them. An entire clan of people as introverted and aggressively isolationist as Corey, coming together fueled by their deep distaste for teaming up with each other in order to defend their isolationist sanctuary. It is a contradiction on several levels, but it works beautifully. I don't think I've ever seen Percy so exhausted. Punk tentatively puts a hand on Corey's foot. Corey doesn't so much as make a grumble of protest. Punk looks at Judge. Judge looks at Corey. You'll know when it's not good, Judge says, because as tired as Corey is, she has her ways of making her discomfort known. Judge has learned that from years of experience. Punk pats the back of Corey's calf before quickly retreating, deciding not to press his luck. What are the three of you doing? Judge nearly jumps straight out of his Warframe from surprise, turning around to see the Empress. Well, it feels like the Empress. Judge has never seen the Empress in an actual armored suit before. He's used to just seeing her in the Zariman suit lining, sleek and streamlined, simple. The Empress's wide hood unfurls like a flower. The waves of her black hair blossom out from the golden lining as she looks between the three of them, arms folded, Warframe nowhere in sight. I was fishing, Judge says, gesturing to his spear. Persephone's guarding me. The Empress raises a thin black eyebrow. I was just going to see if I could find some cool rocks, Punk says. I haven't, yet. Right, the Tenno says. What happened to Persephone? Inter-clan fight, Judge answers. Persephone's in a clan. Yes. The Empress's eyebrows raise up further. Right. Is she hurt? She's tired. So you speak for her now? Judge shrugs his shoulders. Until she tells me to stop. Charming. I need one of the two of you to come with me. Her hood folds itself back up again, engulfing and swallowing her pale face and black hair. Hood's up. There's a stench. I'll go. What are you looking at? Punk asks. Corpses, the Empress says. Namely, that they aren't disappearing or being eaten, and Kondrox won't go within a mile of them. We're going to figure out why. Because the last thing anyone needs is a mountain of corpses lingering around Cetus. My sound effect. My sound effect. I forgot to grab it. Well, there is a transition. New paragraph. Corey is lounging on one of the benches in the relay, one arm spread out along the back, examining Nidus's pointed middle fingertips. Each of the eyes are lazily drifting around, tracking individual movements. On one side of her is the Empress, sitting cross-legged and arms folded in her saren, and on the other, Punk's Chroma, elbows leaning on his knees as he plays with his Kubro. The three of them look like a trinity of oddly assembled organic flesh creatures, at the same time disturbing and beautiful and dangerous. All three of them bear the mark of the Steel Meridian. Wait. Who is saying this? Hold up. I think this is Judge. Sorry. This is a bad chapter. Okay. I mean, bad Me, I'm messing up on the chapter all the time. Anyway. Is this on purpose? He hisses as he walks past them. Really? Right now, in front of New Loka? We're trying to get them to help us. Purification through genocide. Earth as a prize to be won by the worthy. Those pure of race, the Empress sneers. They're fortunate that I don't use them as growth cultures. Alpha, help, Judge says to the Oberon following behind him. Alpha stops walking, shrugs once, and walks around him to walk into New Loka. Not a single one of them, Cheek included, is liked by New Loka, or even considered neutrally. He has no idea how they're supposed to ask for the Warframe upgrades and techniques they supposedly have, but they do need them. Well, I'm the least hated among the 6 of us, Sheik says. I'll go in first, and you stay quiet and look pretty behind me. Hopefully we can sort this out with minimal loss. Leave it up to the professional merchant and trader, Punk says, wiggling his fingers at them as they approach New Loka's doors. It would help if you guys tried antagonizing people less, Sheik says. Except you, Alpha, sweetie. I know you can't help it. By nature, people are antagonistic towards what they don't understand. You keep doing you. Alpha sits down next to the Empress and immediately lies down with his head on her lap. Saren starts to play with the Oberon's branches. Judge has no doubt that the Alpha has gone to sleep while inside his Warframe. He envies that kind of indifference at times. It's probably better than high-strung anxiety and paranoia, though he likes to think he's getting better at managing that. Nidus lazily waves a hand at him as he turns to follow Sheik into New Loka headquarters. We should all have shown up as Titanias, she says to all of them. Titanias in Steel Meridian and Red Veil colors. Puck bursts out into chortling laughter. Nice. Inspired. There's always next time, Empress says. You guys are the worst, Judge says, and then cuts the comms as the doors slide closed behind him. He absolutely cannot go into this with the 4 of them in his ears. End of chapter 105. And let me grab my sound bite so I have something to play at the end of chapters and I don't mess up like that again. All right. Macaulay Master, hello. Thank you so much for coming. Welcome. We're having some great bedtime story reading and etc. Galactic Guardians. Ooh, I do like that. It sounds a little bit too much like Guardians of the Galaxy, though. But I do like it. That is very cool. Maybe something with the word galactic. Ooh. The Galactic Trade Federation! Of course! Gotta make everything into a reference. Ah! Oh, thanks. Hey, thank you, Macaulay Master. Thank you for... Glad nobody cares that I mess up all the time. Anyway. Hi, hello there, Hayden. Hi. Nice to be back. Nice to hear your man voice again. Rip. I guess Judge's voice is a favorite. Alright. It must stay the Discord name. We must shut down any raccoons who try to come here. The problem is, the infestation has already spread. It's too late now. There's no choice but to purge them entirely by changing the name. Hey, got people on my side for once. The anti-raccoon propaganda. Heck yeah, it's working. I gotta make subliminal videos where I like flash dead raccoons on screen or something. I don't know. Galactic Raccoon Extermination Service Station. See, but that still has the name raccoon in there. We gotta move away from the raccoons. But that works. What's it stand for? G-R-E-S-S? Gress. The Gress. See if we can rename it to like G-R-E-A-S-E instead it could be just Grease. Or something. I don't know. Alright. Anyway, give me a second. I need to find the soundbite that I use. So that I can so that I can actually do this reading without having to specify, okay, scene change. So give me a moment. I think it got deleted from my computer, so I'm gonna go re-download it. It shouldn't be too hard. I have this thing bookmarked. I'm pretty sure it's bookmarked. And I'll just go to that page. In the meantime, how are you guys doing? Welcome to the stream. Even if you've been here the entire time, I don't care. I'm gonna welcome you again. Because, aha, I found it. Because, yeah, duh. Everybody's always welcome. Let me know if, you know, the sound's already been confirmed that it is okay. Cool. Cool. I'm just trying to find the mag sound. Let's see. Where is it? Is there a Warframe? Here we go. Warframes. Alchemist. Oh, that's probably Lavos. Alright, which one's mag? Is it just called mag? It is just called mag. Nice. Alright, time to play all the sounds and see which one is the right one. Why is it? Ah! Nope, that is not the right one. Just play all the sounds. Nope, that's not it. I mean, I guess technically I could do any sound, but I wanted that one specific one. It's an idle. It's an idle. Hold up. Is it? It's this one. I found it. I found it. It's this one. Yes? Yeah, this is the one. We found it. Let's re-download this bad boy. I'm using kasumata.ee if you guys were interested in downloading like literally every single sound effect that is in the Warframe database. It's very cool. I like it a lot. I think they've made the sounds available because you're able to use them during the Tenotunes contests that they used to hold, and I don't think they hold them anymore, which is very sad because those were good contests. All right, we got our sound effect back. Nice. I am happy. Immediately underneath it, sweaty way, I started blasting. It was a little loud. Eh? Oh, wait, huh? Was that fire crackle sound in the background before? So the fire crackle sound, it used to be the stream and the birds and the winds in the trees, but apparently the birds were really annoying some people, so I changed it to a fire crackle. The fire is going on this entire time. Like, I don't know if you guys could hear that. It's like, there's a sound in the background. It's too loud. Okay, I could try to find a different one. Oh, this one might be loud too, because I've turned everything up. Okay. Last night you made your first Dungeons & Dragons characters from the D&D webpage. Hey! Congratulations! Nice! That is... I gotta always congratulate people for being sucked into the TTRPG mess that is D&D. It's awesome. I love D&D. I still need to learn the Bionicle D&D system, but I'll get to that. I'll get to that. You're existing, as always. Hey! Ditto! Ditto. Hanging in there. All right. Hey, better than dying in a puddle on the floor. Someone... Oh, you met someone named Rosemary. Oh, I have a relative named Rosemary. And there you go. An uncommon name. You love that sound? Oh, the mag sound? I do too. It like releases the happy chemical in my brain because mag was my starter. And so I had the noble animation on her. So every once in a while she would make that sound and it got associated with noob Warframe memories. And it's great. The fire makes me real sleepy. Then again, you're always sleepy. Well, hey, then the bedtime story is working. All right. Let me check if I can get a different fire sound effect. 'Cause this is a different video from the one that I had last week. So I'm gonna turn off the fire noise. There, this one's a little louder. A little bit more obvious. Is this better or do you like the other one better? This one's more crackly versus the other one was more like that's not a noise, but like the other one was more the fire and this is more the crackling of the logs. Which ones do you guys prefer? I could do either. You're just working out on your you're just working on your starting equipment. weapons, armor, the usual. Oh yeah, getting into D&D is pretty hard when you're new. Like, because you have so much stuff you have to read and so much stuff you have to catch up on. It's like, it's just overwhelming, pretty much. I think that nothing is ever as hard as just making a character for the first time. It's all down here from here. If you can successfully make a character, you can do anything in D&D, pretty much. Like, I feel... Yeah, because the player's handbook... There's like a lot that you have to know. Like, you have to know everything about your class, and then you have to know everything about basic combat. Like, you have to know, oh yeah, this is a bonus action. A bonus action is different from an action. An action is different from an attack. All attacks are actions, but not all actions are attack. All that good, all that jazz. And some people have multi-attacks, which costs 1 action to do like 5 attacks. And that's different, and you can't use one of those actions to do something else. And anyway, I'm gonna stop talking about D&D, and I'm just gonna keep on going. Nobody has complained about the fire sound effect change, so I'm just gonna stick with this one. You forgot you're a halfling thief for 90%? How do you, okay, I get forgetting that you're a halfling. If you're in a party that doesn't roleplay, like, I get that. If you don't roleplay, your race might not even come up, like, other than having the lucky feat. But thief? You forgot you were a thief. How? How? Oh, unless you mean thief as in background, and not thief as in rogue. In which case, never mind. But yeah. I do like the roleplay heavy games. Anyway. Let's move on with the story. I'll keep rambling about D&D at the end of the chapter, and I have the special sound effect, so we're good. You don't do actions, you do random stuff for the whole thing. I mean, if you're not in combat, then yeah. Like, in combat, actions are very structured, but outside of combat, yeah, you could do whatever. Thief isn't rogue. You forgot you were a rogue? So you're being a crazy person. Okay. So they forgot they were a halfling, which means there probably wasn't a lot of roleplay. And then you forgot that you were a rogue, which means there probably wasn't a lot of battle. Yeah, maybe you just roleplayed a crazy person. You forgot that you were a very short crazy person. I don't know what's going on here. A lone rogue with no attachments. I'm not even gonna try to figure this out anymore. I'm gonna read the book. All right. Best of luck with your crazy person rogue. Good old stabu boys. I do! Carrot King Jebel, hello! It has been quite a while. Welcome back. Hope you're having a fun time. How does it feel not to be the latest and greatest in the Undertale boss lineup? Well, maybe not greatest. I actually haven't fought Jebel, so I don't know how he compares. But I hear that there's a certain spam email who's pretty popular. Jebel is cool. Yeah, I do need to fight him. I haven't gotten around to him yet. I gotta do that at some point. Anyway, I'm gonna have a Deltarune stream on on Saturday over on Twitch. I'm gonna be fighting the spammy boy. We're not talking about that? Alright, we're not talking about that. We are not talking about that. How does it feel to be the OG? Oh no, you're not. To be the OG Deltarune boss. There we go. Still top of the throne with that. Anyway, let's go back to reading the story. Anyway, welcome to the stream, Jebel. Have a chaotic time. I liked the world revolving. I loved the version of world revolving that had it was set to year number 1 in the background. It was pure genius. Like, I don't know if I can even find it again. It was amazing. wait, let me see if I can find it. I got it. Why are you bringing this up? You're sidetracking me. How dare? Let's see if I can find it. Is this it? This is it, right? Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. The one by Silva Gunner. I love that one. It's so great. It's We Are Number One, except not. And it's, never mind. We're reading the book. We're reading the book. Anyway, chapter 1. Oh no. Oh no. The argument. We're reading the chapter. All right. Back to the book. Back to the book. Sees Who Could Sing So Deep and Strong by heartslogos. Chapter 106. Who says this? Wait a second. Hold up. This is Persephone talking. All right. let me try this again. Chapter 106. Untrue. I find aesthetic value in things. Alpha's handsome. Everyone turns to Alpha, who stands as still as he ever does. His facial expression hasn't changed at all from its emotional blank slate. His eyes are still serious and focused, his mouth a flat line. But spots of pink begin to glow up on his cheeks, highlighting the new freckles that are beginning to form from afternoons spent on the plains. Alpha slowly lowers his head until his shaggy black hair is half obscuring his face, raising his long fingered hands to cover the rest and disappearing in a glimmer of yellow and blue into his Ivara. His Ivara immediately enters stealth and disappears. Everyone's eyes swing back to Persephone. Her Nidus stands still, all eyes focused on where the Alpha last was before she says, I meant my dog. But Alpha the Tenno is handsome too, I guess. Thank you. Alpha's low and inflectionless response comes from directly behind the Empress's Saren. You made him blush, the Empress laughs, Saren's hands on her hips. How delightfully charming. Alpha love, I haven't seen you react that way in years. Am I losing my touch? There's no response, but the Empress's laughter continues to drift over the plains, so it's entirely possible that he's only speaking to her now. You don't even think I look good. You don't even think I look good, Hades says. Should I feel a little hurt? Persephone scoffs, continuing to walk. Why do I have to tell you that you look pleasing to the eye? To boost my confidence? I have other ways of doing that. Ooh, Punk says, laughing as he throws an arm around Persephone's Nidus's shoulders, careful not to poke any of the eyes. Tell us all about how you stroke his ego, Percy. Persephone rams a sharp, bladed elbow straight into Atlas's gut, but the Warframe doesn't even acknowledge it. Hades is decent, Persephone says, but he isn't my partner because he looks halfway decent. That's cute, Sheik says, playfully punching Hades' Inaros between the shoulders. Your girl likes you for you. How deep. I like you for you, Punk says. I like you for the money you make me, Sheik deadpans. And because sometimes when the light catches you right, you actually look really handsome, especially if your mouth is closed. Hey, I'll have you know that the vague memories of my mom always include her telling me that I'll be such a looker when I grow up. Look at that one, Persephone mocks. That's what you don't want to be, children. Take that one as an example. Percy! Punk holds a hand to his chest. A2, you're my best friend. Back me up. That you would consider me your best friend is beyond abysmal, Persephone says. If Hades hadn't blown it for me when I was trying to establish a new identity, I would have escaped you by now. To this day, I regret that I didn't just cut my losses and run. You front, Percy. I know you like me back, and I bet you also think I'm handsome too. Why would you think that? Because my best feature is that I have them. I think someone said that about me once. I can't remember. Anyway, if I'm good for anything, it's this face. And I'm proud of it. I take such good care of it. You want in on my skincare routine? It's a good mission. In and out, over in less than half an hour. A nice quick warm-up run that promises to have some pretty okay rewards once they turn in this data mass. And he thinks he did pretty alright too. He's got a new axe that he's trying to break in, and he's just about got the hang of using a bow and arrow. Jude'll never be anywhere close to Alpha's level of crazy stunts with one, but he's getting pretty decent. He might be able to start using a bow and arrow in a conclave match, or maybe in Rathum if he keeps this up. Percy's waiting ahead of him next to the cables they'll use to parkour down to the extraction point. Jude waves at her, a quip about, "That wasn't so painful, was it, Percy?" on the tip of his tongue when he sees something dark out of the corner of his eye. He yelps. The next thing he knows, he's flying off the edge of the snowy cliff, a Zanuka hunter firmly latched onto him. Obviously, this is just his luck. Nothing ever goes good for him unless he's in an arena. Jude! Jude's air is abruptly and painfully cut off as something yanks around his neck, jerking him to a stop mid-fall. The force of the sudden stop causes the Zanuka to fly off of him, hurtling down the cliffs below. Lucky break? The pressure quickly eases as he's yanked up and he feels Percy's Nidus's claws digging into the back of his neck, holding him. Jude risks a glance up and sees Persephone hanging off the edge of the cliff. She's got one hand on his neck, the other grasping the metal pole that they were using to get out of here with. "You called me Jude." Jude doesn't know what color Percy is underneath her hood and her scarf and her masks and all of that, but he bets anything that she's turning a pretty pink under all that. Or a apoplectic red. "Shut up. And you saved my life. You have the data mass. Percy." "Punk, grab my arm and climb up," Percy grinds out, voice crackling through her scrambler. "Don't make me drop you." "You'd never," Jude says. "Nice whip work, by the way. Lucky you didn't snap my neck." "For you." Jude reaches up and hauls himself up Nidus's arm until he can get a grasp on the cliff edge and flip himself up. Percy follows after. Jude lightly kicks the back of Nidus's leg. "You lack me." "No one would believe you if you told them this anyway," Percy says. "Doesn't matter," Jude says. "I know what happened. If I could put a frame around this specific moment in time, the day Percy called me by my name." Also, how do you remember me after 2 to 4 months? It's because I don't have a lot of people show up in the chat. That's why. I try to remember everybody's name. I'm not very good at it, but I do try. And chaotic all caps King Jevil kind of sticks in your memory, considering I have a face to the name. But yeah, I try my hardest. I'm not a person who has, as you can tell, the chat is not moving at like 20 million miles per hour. So I have I'm blessed with the ability to read all of the chatters. Oh no. So he's still in a cell, is he? No. Wait, no, because the dark fountain that housed the cell in it got destroyed, so technically he should still be in Ralsei's town now, which has the name of whatever you picked for the main character. For my playthrough, it's Nebulux town, which sounds very awkward, but there you go. So yeah, right? Because we grabbed everything from the spare room, and we brought it to Ralsei's fountain in the closet. So Jevil should be there too. I don't think he's in a cell. Oh, hi, Turley Tuft. Hi. Nice reading time. Hey, nice. Hello. She's a little tsundere. She's always been a little tsundere. That's her MO. Jevin is free to create destruction? You mean... Oh, yeah, Jevil. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. No power over axolotls. Where does it say that in the code of the game? I don't remember any no axolotl clauses in there. Oof. Looks like you've made yourself an enemy. Bon dun dun dun. I don't know where I was going with that. Oh yeah, got you. We figured it out. We figured it out. Don't sweat it. Don't sweat the small stuff. It sounds like Kevin with a J. Anyway. But oh, that last chapter, that's one of my favorites, with the whole bit where like Cheek had that whole exchange with Punk about, she's like, oh yeah, you're kind of handsome, but you also make me money, and that's the real reason why I hang around you. I love that part. I thought that was just beautifully written. Absolutely amazing. Would it be 20 daggers or an even 100? Probably. I'd guess on the upper end of the spectrum, personally. That's where I'm putting my money. Oh no. Oh no, people knifing each other in the comments section. Oh, you know what I'm picturing right now is Beat It, where they have that like switch knife bit towards the middle, like pew pew, not pew pew, like stabu. You guys stabbing each other with knives now. Anyway. Oh no. I want to play a game. You want to play a game? Let's play. Oh no. I'm just gonna go to the next chapter. Don't mind me. I'll just keep reading all the cool fluff stuff. Don't kill each other while I'm away, okay? Okay. You boys play nice. It's just a simple numbers game. Oh, this is ominous. All right, I don't want to see any heads rolling by the time I get back. Chapter 107. Step in line, the Empress says. As soon as the techniques have figured out stabilizing Garuda and make that Warframe schematics available to the Tenno pool, I will be the first to get her. I've always wanted to try transference with the Garuda, but by the time the Orokin had her design finalized and ready for mass production, I had already been deployed to Earth as a Saren, and there was no way that I was going to leave Alpha, and they might have never let me come back. You can't hoard Garuda to yourself, Punk says. I want to try interfacing with one too. Among all of us, the Empress gestures in a neat triangle. I am the one most suited for Garuda. Punk, I love you dearly and treasure you as an adorable companion and amusement. But if you come between me and that Warframe, I will cut you off without remorse or hesitation. I also want to try Garuda, Kore says, joining the conversation for the first time since the argument broke out. I feel like she'd be more compatible with me than my Valkyr. Valkyr's rage and her vengeance is too powerful. It's all-consuming. As a Valkyr, Kore relishes the power and feels so vividly alive, but at the same time she can't think. All of her thoughts race and move towards one act of violence and immediate satisfaction to the other. She can't plan, she can't think ahead. She can't protect Judge the way she needs to sometimes. Garuda seems more precise, controlled, tactical. Excellent, then our order shall be me, then Persephone, and then you, the Empress says. What? How come Percy's before me? She only just joined this conversation 1 second ago. Women and children first. I am a child! Punk throws his arms up in exasperation. Oh, Jude. The Empress smiles and pats Punk's cheek. You are unquestionably juvenile, but you are no child. And there is only one person in existence that I would follow behind, and currently he has about as much interest in Garuda than he has in the world around him. Alpha? The three of them turn to the Oberon that's been quietly kneeling on the ground some yards off. Oberon's long, shimmering royal blue and crisp white skirts are elegantly fanned out on the ground behind Alpha as his metal fingertips glitter in the light as he untangles some sort of small baby brush animal from a thorny bush. Alpha, the Empress calls out again. She sighs fondly when there's no response and repeats, Alpha. Oberon's head suddenly turns towards them, hand stilling, shoulders jerking back. He tilts his head. Do you want a Garuda? The Empress asks. Alpha's response is to turn back to the animal he's working with and continue unraveling thorns and leaves and branches, returning to his intense focus on his self-assigned task. See? We can all use her at the same time, Punk says. There's no reason why we can only deploy one Garuda at a time. Corey rolls her eyes, and the Empress sighs, shaking her head. If I am a Garuda, and you are a Garuda, and Persephone is a Garuda, the Empress says, who is the one keeping us alive and providing backup when there is a dip in synchronization or some sort of failed calibration? Garuda's damage output increases the more damage the frame is sustained, Corey says. That means we're all going to be running this frame through heavy fire on purpose, and we're going to have to manage our Warframe's energy pools while trying to keep that level. The three of us trying to figure that out at the same time together without any real backup is suicide. And with your luck, Zanuka would drop in for us. Empress maxes her first, then me, then you. Ideally, if you go last, then the two of us will know what to expect when you start in on it. Your thoughts, the Empress says, as Judge follows her into the newly constructed relay. It's red, Judge says. It's certainly a very different aesthetic from the other Tenno relays. And it kind of feels like this one is some sort of battalion outpost, like this place exists in the middle of a war zone. The entirety of this solar system is a war zone, the Empress replies, but your point is made. Yes, it does have that atmosphere, doesn't it? The other relays seem very relaxed in comparison. Cool. Businesslike. Yeah, Judge says, looking around at the orange and gold banners, the flames and torches, the scorched stones that decorate the warm metal of the relay. The Steel Meridian designed this place? It feels more like Red Veil. The Steel Meridian is not known for aesthetics, Hades, the Empress says, and of its allies, the Red Veil knows how to use images best. Say what you will about them, but they certainly have a mastery of dramatics. Mercury is one of the more contested planets, quick to change hands. It seems fitting that its relay gets designed with these conditions in mind. Judge sticks close to the Saren as she guides him through the relay. It's not just the colors that are different. The entire layout of the space is rearranged. Automatic doors slide open, and Judge looks up at the new and open main room, seeing the large glass panes revealing the darkness of space outside. All of it is heavily contrasted with the metal bowls of flame and burning stones. In the middle of the room, there's a red countdown holographic, projected along with some kind of razorback? No one wants the Tenno factions rebuilding anything, the Empress says. Of course, the Corpus and Greenair have set their sights on this relay to destroy it once more. Better now to crush hope and to nip this before it's fully fortified. Come. We must report to the Arbiters. New intelligence on the incoming invasion should have been distributed to the factions by now, and I would like to hear it from Hexus before I hear the Steel Meridian's colorful version. Alright, what's the body count? Who's dead? What's going on? Ba-da-da-da. When your it's a simple numbers game. When your HP reaches 0, you lose. That is an amazing quote. I'm gonna steal that and start using it. That is excellent. Thank Void I'm neutral at this. Hey, better at that than to be stabooed by angry chaos clown. Oh no. Wait, is that an actual voice line that Jevel says in the game? I should look that up. Actually, no, I should fight him, and then we'll see. Then we'll see. Let the chaos begin. Chaos everywhere. See you around, Jesse OJ. Thanks for stopping by. Hope that you have a good one, if it takes a long time. Yeah, locking stuff is a good idea. Better safe than sorry. I agree. Body count is just you and Jevel. Don't steal my quote. Too late. Too late. It's already stolen. You have said it, and now it is permanently ingrained in my brain. It's mine now. Insert soldier stealing bucket meme. Your meme is mine thing. Never mind. What? You can't explain. You can't do a meme with a word, right? Never mind. I'm not making any sense now. My brain has decided it doesn't want to function, but then again, what else is new? No, I mean, trying to tell somebody about a meme always fails. Like, you can't say, oh, I saw this meme the other day. It had a picture of a dog, and the dog had, like, a baseball bat in one hand, and it was bonking this other person, and then there were, like, words, and the words on the dog said, and it's like, you can't explain a meme. It loses all funniness. You have to just show it to the person, you know? So, there we go. It's your quote? We'll see about that. Don't make me use 3% of my power on you. I'm gonna regret this when I finally do the devil fight, aren't I? I'm totally gonna regret this. I'll be fighting him and I'll be dying and I'll be like, I shouldn't have stolen his quote. But it's too late. I'm not fighting him yet, so I'm stealing all the quotes I want. Please and thanks. Thank you very much. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hope you have everything locked up nice and tight. No burglars. All that jazz. Anyway. You never did the devil fight? Hey! Hey! Samesies. That's a thing people say in this year, right? Probably not. I am gonna be fighting Spamly Saturday. That's the thing I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna try my best to beat him. The stream don't end till I beat the boy. Smack him. Smack him in the head. Hey, pizza for dinner. Hey! Yum. Pizza. Everybody loves pizza. I don't think I've met a single person who doesn't like pizza. Or if I have, I quickly erased it from my memory. Everyone's eating pizza except for me. I had rice substitute. But that works. That works. Uh-oh. Actually, uh-oh. Everybody's having pizza! Wait, what? Jesse had pizza, and Hayden had pizza, and Jebel had pizza? Everybody's eating pizza except me. I'm sad I'm not in the pizza club. Alex Rogers, hi. Hello. Welcome to the stream. It is in between chapters. I'm just talking. I'll get back to the chapter in a bit. I'm probably not going to get very far in the book, seeing as how much talking I've been doing today. But there we go. No real food. Oh well, such is my lot in life. Hey, it's better that than the strange chemical compounds that everyone else over here slurps up. No, cursing people with anti-pizza. What worse curse can there possibly be? Oh no. Why are you bullying the poor clown? The clown he's already in jail. He's had a tough life. No bully. Anyway. Where are the raccoons when you need them? Excuse me? You never need raccoons. Let me tell you that right now. No. Never summon the raccoons. Anyway, I'm gonna move on to the next chapter. Dun 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 dun. Help. How can I help? No bully, Hayden. Bonk, bonk. I don't have a... Oh, I do! Hold up. I do have a bonkage. It's not super bonkage. I need a bonkage. But there we go. That is the wrong bonkage. That is also the wrong bonkage. Let's just go with this one. Yeah. There we go. There we go. Play nice. You'll need to ask one of your friends or someone who's a DM that plays the game. Who do I ask? Well, I mean, I play the game. I could probably answer questions. I mean, you could DM me on Discord or something, I guess. But, yeah. I don't know. I don't know anybody. I mean, who else? Oh, there's a bunch of people in my Discord who know... Oh, that's the thing. There's a bunch of people in my Discord who play D&D and know the rules really well. You could go into the Dungeons and Doom channel. in the Discord, and you can ask them there if you have any questions, and they'd be able to answer you as well. There's a bunch of people who are very rules lawyery, and they'll be able to help you with anything that you need to know. All right, let's get rid of this. Gather the trash hoard. No! No! Alex, you betray me like this? You would stab me in the back? Ah! Sadness. Sadness. He's not in jail, he's a free clown. But he's been in jail in the past. It's changed him, it's scarred him. You've never been bonked? You've been spritzed with water. Because I don't have a bonkage, so you've been spritzed. Hey, maybe if it's hot over there, you've got a nice refreshing spritz in the face, so now you can cool down. Alright. Unless they're in the middle of the game, then you're not to interfere. Eh? No, for the way the Discord works, the Dungeons and Doom channel is just like a general chat for D&D. So it's like let me check it. There's like nobody in a chat right now. Unless you were talking about something else. I don't know what you're talking about. You could just ask questions. Scream thine questions unto the void, and lo, it shall answer forthwith. Stealing the pizzas back and forth. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. You must do as the Trash King says. Don't worry. It's never too late. This is me grabbing the what's it called? The monitor. You can hear me shaking it. I'm grabbing the monitor. It's never too late. It's never too late. You can always turn your back on the trash hoard and become a wonderful human being. Ah. All right. That's it. That's the rant. Oh no, my monitor broke. I'm permanently in a hunched over position. I regret everything. I regret everything. Alright, let me fix this. Wow, okay. Thanks, monitor. How do I fix this? Here we go. Don't you love it when that happens? When everything breaks so drastically that you must hide your face in shame. There we go. Everything's better now. Alright, we're good. There's pizza in the fridge. Hey, and pizza by the oven. Enough pizza for everybody. Thanks, Jesse. I wish I could eat the pizza. Well, hey, if they can eat the pizza, I can eat the pizza. It's digital pizza. Yes, yes. I'm claiming a piece of the pizza. Save one for me, okay? Save one for me, guys. I want the pizza when the stream's done, okay? Okay. What would you do if I defected? I wouldn't be sad. I would be disappointed. I would give you the grandmother look. I'm not mad. I'm just, you had such potential. Anyway. He's not repenting. Alex is holding firm. Sadness. I broke my monitor to relay this information to you. And this is how you repay me. Anyway. Would the non-raccoons be doomed forever? I don't see why they would be. You can just replicate the pizza? Haha. But you need a pizza to replicate it. Replicate just means copy. Oh, unless you mean like plug in the chemical equation for pizza and have it spit something out? Well, maybe not chemical equation, but you know what I mean. Anyway, I'll think about it. We'll see if that happens. Anyway, let's move on to the book. I've talked for too long. Much too long. Doomed forever. Oh no. Oh no. Anyway. But don't you need axolotls to fight raccoons? You make it sound as if I have an army of axolotls at my beck and call. I don't. It's just, there's no army of axolotls. If you want to fight raccoons, be my guest. But yeah. Don't you need axolotl boy? Oh, I see. Got you. This is a loaded question, isn't it? let's move on to the book. I appreciate your presence here. Okay, I appreciate your presence. I appreciate all of you guys. Like, honestly, thank you so much for showing up. Even though I'm not actually doing what it says on the stream title when I'm just talking. Thank you, everybody who's here. Thank you guys for showing up in the chat. And thank you for coming. Like, I really do appreciate you guys. You guys are super cool. You're the best. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Alright, now I'm going to read the chapter. Chapter 108. Alpha wakes up. Oh, wait, is this a flashback? I think this is a flashback. I don't know if it's a flashback or not. I'll read it, and then at the end of the chapter, I'll tell you if it's a flashback or not. Chapter 108. Alpha wakes up. He wakes up. He was asleep, except he was not, because he was moving under the sun, running his hand through his Kubro's fur and feeling the grass against his legs. He was asleep, except he was not, because he could feel the weight and resistance of bone against his daggers as he angled the blades up against ribs and plunged into muscle. He was asleep, except he was not, because the sun hurt his eyes when he looked at the sky. But he was asleep. He wakes up now, really wakes up, to a voice so familiar, so often dreamed of, that his heart does something complicated in its chest. A skip, a plunge, a hesitation, a murmur, a complete stop, a dash, all of them, none of them, nothing at all, everything at once. He wakes up to a voice so achingly familiar, his heart doesn't know how to comprehend what his brain fails to understand, and his entire body comes back to him at once. A clumsy, weighted mass of aching bone and weak and shaking nerves. Wake up, wake up, wake up now, wake up, the voice says, and his vision starts to clear, and his mouth opens to form everything at once, and it all comes out in one garbled croak that's barely audible to even his ears. He reaches up to try and rip the cowl off his head, but his hands are weak from sleep and clumsy from surprise. It's okay, she says, her own hands going to the fasteners that hold the transparent suit's hood in place. I have you now, I have you. He breathes for the first time in centuries, and he can feel the air against his skin and the sudden fall of his hair against his cheeks and neck, and her hands stutter against his face as he looks into her own hood. It's her. He knows it's her. But at the same time, he croaks out, throat closing as he coughs out a rasping puff of air. I need to know it's you. His hands reach up for her, and she starts working on her own as his hands hover there, clumsy and awkward. She has always known him. It feels like she's known him forever and ever and ever. His gloved hands are on her skin before the hood is fully cleared, and her hair falls down in shimmering black waves over his hands and drapes over his arms and over him as she leans over him. Thank God, if there ever was one. Thank God, her hair! He had told her once, I still dream about your hair. Before the long sleep, before everything ended, but after everything else. When they were on Earth and left there by the Orakin, before they could start any real trouble. He had told her then, I still dream about your hair, because the white tendrils that writhed on Saren's head and swooped over Saren's shoulder weren't the same thing. Because he had known her for what, in hindsight, was such a brief time, and all he could think about was her beautiful hair. He had never seen hair more beautiful in his life, and he had only touched it once with his skin, but it was the softest silk, finer than anything Orakin hands had ever made, and he loved it, and he loved her. But at the time, he didn't know how to say that to her, because he could never love anything. He was not worth love. There was nothing in him anyone could love except for... And her hair was still the same as it was then. Thank God the Orakin let her keep it, that they didn't touch it. And her face, like cream, like the moon, like a distant star. And her eyes, and her smile as she looks down onto him. His hands shake, and he can feel her skin, the pressure of it, but It isn't enough because this could be a dream too. He starts to repeat, hands on her face, and then quickly pulling them back, pinning them against his chest. He needs to feel her skin, her hair. He needs to feel her and know she's there, but his hands. It's okay, she says, quickly knowing and anticipating everything that goes through his head. It's okay. He shakes his head. No, it isn't. But she leans down until they are closer than they have ever been, except for in their warframes, and she touches the tip of her nose to his. I'm here. I breathe. She closes her eyes, and he can feel the warmth of her breath fanning across his face, and he can feel the flutter of her eyelashes. He feels like he's shaking all over. He doesn't know if he stops shaking or shakes all that much harder when she closes the space between them and presses her lips to his, the warmth of her breath still fanning over his skin. His arms seize against his chest, and her hands are quick to grab his and hold on tight. He grips her hands as hard as he can, pulling her closer. Alpha has never kissed anyone before. He kisses her back and hopes he's doing it right. He kisses her back and wants to cry with relief because he's awake and she's real. It feels like he's falling, but not falling. Like he's being buoyed by a gas vent on Jupiter, but on that precarious edge of falling through anyway. He feels like something blooms in his chest, and his heart definitely does not know what to do with this at all. He feels like all of him has burst into flowers. He feels like a star being born. She breaks the kiss with a sharp, strangled sob in the back of her throat, and when she pulls back, her eyes are wet. I thought I'd never see you again, she says. I thought you wouldn't wake up. I thought it would be this for eternity. An eternity, knowing that you and I were once, and to live forever without it. Alpha's hands raise, and he wants to hold her. He wants to stop her crying, even though he's crying too. His entire life called a stone, a blank slate, an empty thing. But no one will ever know just how unsteady he is, and how much like water he feels like this. He manages to get out before his throat closes again. He tries to push her away, and she sits up a little. He slowly takes his hands from hers and tries to take his gloves off. V. Her eyes widen, and her hands come over his, but he keeps trying, forcing himself to keep his eyes on her. The gloves drop onto his stomach, and he raises his hands to her, keeping his vision focused on her scarred face. He forces himself to ignore the hands that rise to run through her hair, so soft, so smooth, so warm, and cradle her face. He looks into her eyes and forces back the heart-pounding nausea and dread and fear that sweeps through him every time his own hands move. He claws through the detritus and the tangled webs of his mind and drags the words painfully and slowly to the front. You came back to me, he says. She laughs, sniffling as he wipes tears from her cheeks, warm, damp, slick against her skin and catching on her eyelashes, and leans down again, resting her forehead against his. I never left you, she replies, and gestures to the side. He turns, struggling to lift his head to see over the ridges of his cryopod, and sees an identical one next to his. A garbled, croaking cry mingles its way out of his mouth. They were together this entire time. The lotus did not lie. The lotus kept her promise. She kept them together. He laughs. Alpha, she says, laughing with him, falling back to their call signs. Alpha, 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 I feel like I'm dreaming. Alpha, I love you. He gets his arms around her and holds her as tight as he can as she lays down over him, her hair blanketing both as she cries and laughs into his neck, face damp. He holds her with his weak and shaking arms and plants the words into her hair for them to bloom. Empress, he says, I love you. bit of a long chapter, but a very sweet one. I wouldn't be sad. No, I would be very sad if you defected to raccoons, Hayden. Don't sell yourself short. It's a mountain of empty water bottles and soda cans if you need it for later. An empty? What? Empty? Oh, because raccoon. Got it. Got it. I was going to say, why are you giving him empty soda? Give him the soda. But no, that makes sense. That makes sense. Jesse OJ over here playing the peacemaker. Good on you. Monopoly. Ooh. You don't want Monopoly. Monopoly is the board game that breaks friendships. Yeah. Connect 4 is better. I'm beast at Connect 4, I think. I've only ever played against people who are worse at it than me, but I've played a lot of it. I like to think I'm good at it. I think I'm good at it. I think I know how to play Connect 4. I'm pretty good. Yahtzee and the Game of Life. Game of Life is always so RNG based. Like, it's literally just all RNG. No skill whatsoever. Oh, goodbye, Jebel. Thank you for stopping by. Have a wonderful evening. I'll see you around. Hello there. I'm gonna say your name wrong. Sorry in advance. Ulysses Naru? Ulysses Naru, maybe? Hello. Hola. Welcome. Welcome. I only speak English, sadly, but I'm glad that you think it's interesting. Atsushi-kun. Hello. Ooh, Aqua Stars. That sounds swanky. That sounds super swanky. Anyway, hello. Welcome to the stream. Yes, we're reading a bedtime story. Yeah. So yes, that was in fact a flashback. That was when Alpha and Empress woke up. As I'm sure you could have guessed from the context. But yeah. Oh, Hayden, you can translate? Hey! I'll probably have to run this through Google Translate or something. Divertida. I don't know what that means. Supongo? I don't know. I'm putting this in Google Translate because I don't know what's going on. But what else is new? I never know what's going on. Do. Don't mind me, just running everything Google Translate so I know what's going on. Bum bum dun 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 dun. Alright, so Hayden said just wait. Oh, she's pretty fun. Ah, got you. Well, thank you, Hayden. Thank you. Appreciate the what's it called? The plug, the ping. Anyway. Oh, you have to go. Oh, well, have a good night, Hayden. Thank you for stopping by. And it's, again, you guys are great. Everybody, including Hayden. Yes, Hayden. Thank you so much for coming along. I'll see you around. I will see you around. Oh, again. Oh, you missed the news bit at the beginning. There may or may not be a stream on YouTube next week. I might be moving the Thursday YouTube stream to Twitch because we're having a celebration over there for 500 followers. So I'm probably going to end up doing that stream on Twitch. It's not set in stone. There might be a stream on YouTube, but there's a very large chance that it might not be on YouTube. Yeah, don't worry. The week after, there will be one. We're going back to business as normal. It's a one-time thing. I'm not permanently deleting the YouTube streams. It's just a one-time thing. Alrighty. Anyway, I'll just move on to the next chapter in the meantime. Well, whilst poor Hayden sobs in pain. This is a big celebration week over on Twitch, so I figured it was worth it. Alright. Moving on. Chapter 109. I think this is... Yeah, this is around the same time period as the time of the last chapter when they had just woken up. Has come to an end? Might as well be in jail with devil. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Well, sorry to hear that. Enjoy your other streams in the meantime. Chapter 109. For them to leave this place, Alpha must go back to sleep. When she had woken up, she did not know that he was next to her. Centuries. Centuries. Centuries they had been asleep side by side and neither of them knew it. Centuries he slept there, just beyond and out of reach, but only just. Physically there. She woke up and did not know what was there, and she struggled for hours to get her body to move and to understand what she wanted. And then she went back to sleep and sent her Saren to come and find the place where she was. And it was only then that she left her cryopod and found the identical one scant inches away from hers. And it was only then that she wiped a hand over the cold and fogged up glass and saw him inside. Oh, he had his suit's hood fastened, and there was nothing unique about the transference suit at all. But she knew. She knew. Alpha's long, gangly limbs are weak from atrophy, and hers aren't much better. But leaning against each other, they manage to stagger away from their cryopods. Alpha leads them, his senses much keener than hers. Something about his school, the way he distributed his energy. Something in all of that. Ooh! Ah! Thank you for the follow, Puzzle Pulsar. I know it says here I'll react to alerts between chapters, but hey. Oh wait, no, that was on Twitch. That was on Twitch. That wasn't even on YouTube. Anyway, well, thank him anyway. Let me restart that paragraph. Alpha's long, gangly limbs are weak from atrophy, and hers aren't much better. But leaning against each other, they manage to stagger away from their cryopods. Alpha leads them, his senses much keener than hers. Something about his school, the way he distributed his energy. Something in all of that gives him some sort of echolocation sense of where things are and which way is what. It takes them a long time. A very long time. But they manage to heave and fumble their way upstairs and through empty corridors until finally, light. Waiting outside is her Saren, just where Empress remembers leaving her when she left transference to try and get out of the pod. They collapsed down onto the sun-warm ground together. Alpha immediately lies down, long limbs sprawling out as he sighs, eyes fluttering closed as he soaks in the sunlight. She leans back on her palms, turning her own face up towards that distant star. How long has it been since either of them have felt the sun on their actual faces? Long before cryosleep, for certain. Before the Warframes. Before the Void, too. Millennia ago. A lifetime ago. They catch their breath, bodies sore from so much exertion after so long. She turns to look down at him, still sprawled there, and she hates to tell him this, but she has to. You need to sleep again, she says. His mismatched eyes fly open as he turns to look at her. Alpha's face is one that is perpetually frozen into distant emptiness, and it is not because he does not feel. Such is a great lie, that is. Empress knows that he feels so much, so deeply, and it's because of that deep well of emotion that he was forced to crush all outward reaction. She hates that his expression was the cost of his survival. She hates that his voice was the price he had to pay to live. She hates that it wasn't the Void that did this. She hates that it wasn't the war or the organ that did it. She hates so much about what made him that she is sometimes baffled by how much she loves the end result anyway. His hand moves out towards hers, faster than she thought he would be able to move, and he grasps her wrist hard. He's afraid. You need to go back to transference and call your ship here, she says, moving closer to him, leaning over him and pressing her hand to his face. You'll be okay. Now that you are awake, you know how to wake up again. You will remember that you have to wake up. Alpha's eyes flicker over her face, his grip tightening as his mouth slowly opens to let the words bloom one syllable at a time. His voice is even, like stone, like marble as the words come out. What if I forget? You won't, she says, stroking her thumb under his eye. You won't forget. Go to sleep. I'll be here waiting, just like you waited for me. She slowly gathers him into her lap, resting his head on her thighs and stroking her hands through his beautiful hair. He continues to look into her face. She knows without him saying that he's afraid, that he doesn't want to fail. He raises his hands to her face, and she leans down as he leans up and he kisses her. Imagine! They could have been doing this for centuries if they only had the mouths. Did the Orokin not give Warframes mouths for this? To deny them this? They all may have entered the void as children, but surely the Orokin did not think that they would stay forever that way. Surely the Orokin would know that they would grow, mature, fall in love? Their lips part with quiet sighs, the warmth of their breath fanning over their faces as he holds her face to his. I will come to you, he says, eyes bright as he leans back down and goes to sleep. It takes a few minutes for him to drift off, for his breath to even. In the meantime, she runs her hands through his dark, thick hair. She watches the flutter of his thick lashes, and she looks at his gloved hands. She would never say it to him, but she loves his hands. They are such gentle and kind hands. He hates and fears his hands, but she never could. Millennium ago, he had told her that he did not like to see his hands. That's why he always wore the suit gloves, even when he didn't need to. Centuries later, he told her, it was my mother and me. My father had already been taken from me by then, when she had asked him who was with him on the Czarman, if he had gone with his family. And during that same time, he later told her, my father and I almost died the same way. Centuries after that, roaming Earth as Saren and Oberon, while the Orokin waged war above them, he had told her quietly, I have my mother's hands. And when the Orokin had fallen and they listened to the distant news of their newly freed Tenno brethren, the Lotus, a new voice from above, he told her softly, and with shame she doesn't understand, I do not want a mother. It was not for another several decades after that he finally said out loud what she had guessed centuries ago, when he had told her that he did not like his hands, his mother's hands. My mother killed my father, and then she tried to kill me. I do not want a new mother. Empress hates that the Alpha associates his own hands with the murder of his father, with his own death. She hates that whenever he looks at his long, slender fingers and the delicate bones of his knuckles and the elegant curves of his wrist, that he thinks of another person's hands wrapped around his own throat. She hates that whenever he sees his hands, he can only remember those moments of violence committed onto him. She hates that he thinks that his hands are capable of the same. He would never hurt someone he cared for. How could he? He loves so much. He fears so much. He would never be able to do it. She loves his hands. She wants to hold his hands to her face and kiss each finger and breathe into his palms, and she wants to feel the softness of his skin on hers. She loves his hands, and she wishes she could tell him that, because whenever she remembers him, she doesn't remember the stone emptiness of his face, or the vibrant gold and blue of his eyes, or even the beautiful tumble of his shoulder-length hair. She thinks of his hands, which she's only seen a handful of times without the gloves, and she thinks of the way his fingers moved and felt. She thinks of his hands, and it makes her heart hurt, because she's seen what those hands can do, and it would never be violence. It feels like hours, days, but it's only the span of one afternoon when she hears the sound of a ship's engines, and then the sound of something landing. And then she looks up when a shadow falls over her, and she looks up into Alpha's Oberon, with its flowing skirts and the delicate branches growing off its shoulders and head. She smiles up at him as the Oberon kneels down and gathers Alpha's sleeping body into its arms. Alpha's eyes flutter open, maintaining the transference through touch as he reaches out to her. She takes his hand and he squeezes it, eyes focusing on her. I am in love with you, she says, and I love you, a state of being, an action she chooses. Alpha's hand squeezes hers. I enter love with you, he replies, their fingers breaking apart as his Oberon starts to turn and walk back towards his ship. She stumbles after him, leaning on her Saren. The Warframe instantly moves, responding to her energy, picking her up and carrying her towards her own ship. She closes her eyes and lets herself fade into darkness. Hey. Like two heads of the same coin. Two halves of the same whole. These two are great. All of the characters in this book are great. They're just beautifully written. And just, this whole thing is so beautifully written. Like, the prose is amazing. Like, I wish I could one day write a fraction as good as heartslogos can write. Like, impressive. Anyway. Moving on. Ba-da-da-da. Neva's great too. You haven't read my writing, though. That's the thing. I mean, I can write well. I will admit that. I can write well, but I don't think I can write like this. Like, this is on a different level. But thank you, Macaulay Mastra. Thank you. What do I have published? I have one TF2 fic that's like one chapter long. That's okay, I guess. It's not anything special. And then I have one Portal 2 crossover fic. That's okay, I guess. And then there's one pony fic I've written that's, I like it. I think it's really well, but it's unfinished, so that automatically makes it a terrible fic. Anyway. I really like that one. I should finish it at some point. It's been sitting on hiatus for like 10 years. Anyway. I don't have a lot of published writing out on the internet floating around. I really don't. I should write more. I can't write more because I stream. Streaming is my free time, guys. So I don't have a lot of time to practice writing. But yeah, one day, clench his fist. You're always your own worst critic. True enough. I think I'm definitely decent / passable. Like, I think my writing style is something people can genuinely enjoy, but I could always improve. You can always improve. Anyway, let's move on. Chapter 110. Oh, this chapter is a good chapter. And again, reminder, this is Jude, aka Punk, not Judge, aka Hades. They're two different people, even though their names are super similar. Always. Hey, Tanky. You guys, See, you guys is plural, but like, you're awesome. You plural, you singular, I don't know. I can't talk. I cannot talk. Macaulay Mastra, thank you. You always got something positive to say, and you've always know how to lift people's spirits, so thanks. Anyway, life advice right there. Hey. Okay. Chapter 110. This is a good chapter, trust me, guys. Well, they're all good chapters, but this is also a good chapter. Again, character arcs. Chapter 110. Jude isn't quite sure of what he's seeing until he's within shooting distance of it, which isn't really a good thing, because if it were a hostile, he'd probably be riddled with holes by now. Lucky it isn't, or at least isn't usually, and Jude feels a little safer approaching. He'd seen a strange outline on the cliffs of Venus and went to investigate. It's Percy. Well, it's Percy's nidus frame, feet and one arm holding onto the cliff. Its feet are stuck to the rock with a faint green energy, and its white and bronze arm has a dagger embedded into the cliffside that it's holding onto. The other arm is wrapped around Percy, herself, who's kind of nestled into Nidus's lap, curled up with her face turned towards Nidus's jelly arm's chest. Jude quickly realizes that Percy was probably looking outward, but quickly turned in when she sensed him approaching. Her face is uncovered. He can see the bright, soft pink of her hair, opposite of Joy's pink. Joy's pink is out and vibrant and yells at your eyeballs. Percy's is soft, like a blush, like a flower petal, like a Kubro's nose, something like that. And it's short, the strands blowing in the wind, along with her thick black scarf with the gold weights at the ends. He redirects his chroma to approach from the other side, while climbing down and around in a large circle until he's on Nidus's left, where Percy's back is. He doesn't think Percy particularly would appreciate him at her back, but she would probably like it better than having to mash her face into her Warframe's chest to avoid having her face seen. Judge isn't so sure about why she doesn't just go into her Warframe and hide. She must have seen him, or at least felt him coming, and he doesn't ask. Jude's always wanted to see Percy's face, but not like this. Not when he didn't earn it from her. Jude will own up to sometimes being a butt, but he isn't a rotten person. Percy, Jude says, copying her Warframe and having his chroma sink a sword into the wall and anchoring himself onto the wall, before carefully materializing on his chroma's thighs, one arm going around chroma's neck as he reaches out and gently touches one end of Percy's scarf. A little far out for you to be enjoying the view. Not much of a view, honestly. He can see the soft puffs of her breath, which is weird. Venus is cold, but it's not that cold. Corpus breath doesn't make little puffs. Their Kubro and Kavat don't make condensation when they breathe. Jude doesn't right now. Then he realizes she's steaming. He's never seen her steam before. Percy? Shut up, Percy says, voice sounding hoarse, like she's been crying. Go away, punk. Not until I know you're okay. What happened? Where's Judge? Percy makes a sharp, angry sound. I don't know. I don't care. Now there's a lie, Perce, Jude says, lightly holding onto her scarf. Percy, what happened? Percy sniffles and wipes at her eyes with a rough swipe of her arm. We had a fight. You want to talk about it? No. Okay. You want to talk about anything? No. Okay. I'll wait over here for you then, Jude says, letting her scarf go and reclining into his chroma a bit. It makes his stomach do something funny whenever he looks down, but otherwise this is pretty cool. It's something new at least. He wonders if this is where Percy goes whenever she needs some alone time, or maybe it's just something she does and the place doesn't matter. He's not quite sure how long they're there. He's never been so good on Venus-based time. He spent way too much time on Sedna for that. But eventually, Percy sighs. He won't talk to me anymore, she says, sounding so defeated he doesn't even recognize her voice. He keeps trying to hold back on me, like I'm a child, like I can't handle it. Jude doesn't say anything. He just waits. It's like I'm not me anymore. Like all the things we've done together, all the challenges and fights we've gone through, like they didn't happen. It's like he thinks I'm fragile and he has to handle me like I'm about to break. I'm not a baby. I'm a Tenno. I can handle myself fine, so I don't understand why he just can't talk to me. Did you tell him that? I told him that I'm fine 1,000,000 times, punk. But did you tell him what you told me? About not liking how he's treating you like you're breakable? Jude asks. Because maybe he needs to be told straight out. Maybe he thinks he's helping you or that you're covering up when you say you're fine and he doesn't know about the other stuff. How could he not know? Percy bursts out, steam rising off her in larger plumes. He knows that I've never liked it when he beats around the bush with me. Then point it out to him that he is, Jude said. Just try it. Percy doesn't say anything. Jude has a sudden thought. Oh, wait here. He quickly transports himself through the void, back to his ship, and runs to grab the wood off the pile in the corner, before transporting himself back to his chroma. He taps the smoothened wood to the side of her arm. I was saving this for the holidays, but this is for you, Jude says. I made it. Well, I cut down the wood for it, and told the alpha what I wanted, and he did most of the woodwork, and then I finished it off. Percy takes it after a second, examining the mask that Jude made for her. The red ribbon that would fasten it around her head dangles and flutters in the cold wind. If you wanted to wear something a little higher than what you normally do, if you wanted to wear something a little lighter than you normally do, Jude says, and for when you maybe wanted to be a little closer to us without having to give up everything. It doesn't really help this situation. Not really. But it's the only thing he can think of to maybe make her think of something else. I'm sorry, Percy, Jude says. I'm not very good at helping, but I can listen if you want me to. I'm okay at that, at least. Corey, Percy says after a beat. What? Corey, she repeats, but only when it's the two of us. Off comms. Jude stares at the back of her head. Really? Don't let Judge know. I'd never hear the end of it. Jude watches as Corey puts the mask up to her face and ties the red ribbon around the back before disappearing in a ripple of golden blue. Her nidus shakes a little, flexing. Thank you, Jude. I love that chapter. I love it so much. Like, it's hard to pick favorites in that thing, but that's one of my favorites. It's like top 10 favorite chapters. I love that one. I love it so much. Anyway. Hello, Jacob. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Puzzle Pulsar. Hello. So, fun fact, when you followed me over on Twitch 20 minutes ago, and when you did that, it popped up on stream, and so I'm like, oh, thank you for the follow, and then I realized it was over on Twitch and not on YouTube, and I'm like, oh, whoops, facepalm. But there you go. Thank you for the follow. Hey, how's it going? That's cool. It's cool. You've accidentally revealed your hand. Bum 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 bum. Anyway. Top 10? Heck yeah. You love the voices. Hey! Glad to hear it. I don't know what the author thinks of my voices. The author has never mentioned anything. I don't even know if they've seen any of the videos. They know that they exist. Like, cause I asked them for permission before I started reading the book. So like, they know that they exist, but I don't know if they've ever listened to them. So I don't know if they hate my voices or not. They probably do, let's be honest. But I like the voices, and I'm glad you like the voices, because this is actually how they sound in my head. So I'm so happy that I could put what I hear and make it and force it to be what you guys have to hear. Yeah. There's nothing that says Punk has a southern accent, but I'm giving him a southern accent anyway, because that's what I hear for him. So there we go. You'd love to know if they'd watch. I'd love to know too. I know they know it exists, because on the actual website they put a link to the first stream where I read the first 3 books. No, the first 2 books. Where I read the first 2 books. They have a link to that on the actual book, which is very flattering. But yeah, I don't know if they've actually seen it or not. Anyway, yeah. If they do, hey, heartslogos, if you ever watch this, if you ever get to this part, let me know how much you hate Punk's voice, okay? Okay. Anyway, I like the voices, but there you go. Anyway, let's move on to the next chapter. We're on chapter 111 out of 186. Got a long ways to go. But yeah, I love that chapter so much. There's so many good chapters, but Character development. Character development. Like heck yes. Corey goes from despising Punk with every fiber of her being and trying to legit erase her, make a new identity for herself to avoid having to interact to him, unironically making a new identity for herself. She goes from that to telling him her real name. Like, that is such a huge step for her. At this point in time, the only person who knows her real name is Judge. That's it. One person. Does the Lotus know? I think the Lotus might know too. Judge and the Lotus, 2 people. And then she tells Punk. The Empress doesn't even know. And she tells Punk. Like, character development. Anyway, let's move on to the next chapter. Chapter 111. Alpha hands her a small bundle of pink and purple flowers with yellow centers and walks over to Judge and gives him long-stemmed flowers with strange white half-closed petals. What is this for? Corey asks. Oh, it's what he does, the Empress says, for the holidays. But it looks like his garden peaked a little early this year, so he's giving them out while they're still fresh and lovely. Alpha's Oberon nods. Alpha's Oberon nods, long, graceful arms encompassing bundles of brightly colored flowers as he separates a bundle of pink and white roses, these Corey can recognize, and hands them to Sheik, who smiles and pats Oberon's cheek. Alpha lets her do that for a while, before handing Punk several large red and yellow flowers with multiple layers of petals. Punk accepts the flowers and knocks his chroma's head against Alpha's Oberon. Dahlias every year, Punk says, and every year they're somehow more awesome than the last. Thanks, Alpha. Alpha gently knocks his head back against Punk's before handing the Empress the one flower he has left, long-stemmed with strange red petals that look a little like red hairs. Spider lily, the Empress says, curling her Saren's arm around Oberon's waist as she brings him in so that their warframes can touch faces. My favorite. And this one is a magnificent one. I love it, Alpha. Thank you. Alpha sits down at the Empress's feet, hoofed legs neatly disappearing under Oberon's long skirts, and goes completely still. Here's our cosmos, Sheik says, looking at the bundle of flowers in Corey's arm. And Judge's are lilies. They're pretty, Corey says. She has no idea what to do with them. She doesn't think there's anywhere on her orbiter for her to put them, and she'd feel bad just putting them down somewhere. That, and with her luck, one of her Kubro or Sentinels or something would see them and make a horrible mess out of the delicate things. I like them, thank you. Judge is holding his like he's holding a baby or something, like he doesn't quite know what to do with a flower. Thanks, he says, and then on their private channel, how do you store flowers? Corey replies back, in water, I think. I don't know, I've never gotten flowers before. All right, before we all go off, Sheik says, clapping her Trinity's hands together, I've got something exciting. They all turn to her. Corey is a little wary. For Sheik, something exciting could be anything from finding a new style option to finding a corpus convoy to hijack and ransack. Sheik can be a little ambiguous like that. It's gotten Corey into trouble before. It's probably going to get her into trouble again. One of my contacts was so particularly pleased by what I was able to produce for them that they gave me a stream code for a theater play, Sheik says. And because I'm not an idiot, I hacked the code to get access to the entire production's cameras. All of you are invited to come into my ship tomorrow night so we can watch something that isn't a security feed or All of you are invited to come onto my ship tomorrow night so we can watch something that isn't a security feed or Grenier propaganda. As a general rule, Tenno are banned. As banned as a Tenno can be, it's more like the Tenno politely avoid causing distress among the masses from such things as the theater or anywhere with large numbers of civilians. Considering that the last time the Tenno were near a stage resulted in the mass overthrow of the greatest power in the system for several centuries followed by a bloody war, Corey doesn't begrudge this. Oberon's leaves seem to perk up a little and flutter with a touch of lively excitement. Corey's not sure if she's imagining that or not. She's probably imagining it. Yes, Alpha, you can bring your dogs and cats and whatever else you've collected, but only 2, okay? You can't swarm my ship. There's got to be room for the rest of us. Alpha's entire Oberon seems to dim as he thinks, immediately caught in some sort of internal struggle as to which of his dozens upon dozens of animal companions will get this treat of seeing a play. I love the theater, the Empress says. We would love to come. And yes, Persephone, you can just show up in your Warframe, Sheik says, turning to Corey. Don't worry, Alpha mostly stays in his Warframe when he's on my ship, too. Alpha's signature quietly knocks on Corey's mind, and she opens a channel for him. Her ship smells, Alpha says, like sleep. Get tired. Easier to sleep in transference. And then the channel closes. Corey wonders how the others stay awake. What are we gonna be saying? Punk asks, holding his flowers up and examining them in the light. An old Earth classic flicks, Sheik says, done on stage. Something called El Dorado. It sounds familiar, but it's been so long since I've seen anything that I can't really remember it exactly. Is it the one with the armadillo? I think so. Either the armadillo or the one-eyed green thing. Pretty sure it's the armadillo. The one with the green thing was banned because of something or other the corpus found that goes against their code of profit. Neat. I love that little guy. Punk nudges Judge. You'll like it. Lots of laughs. What's an armadillo? Corey asks. It's like a rat with a shell, Punk replies. A hairless rat with a shell. It sounds awful. Is it the bad guy? Judge asks. Do they have to kill it? What? No, it's like comic relief or something, or mascot. Corey has no idea how something that sounds so ugly could be a mascot. You'll understand when you see, the Empress says. It isn't nearly as horrid as it sounds. It's rather cute, depending on how well the production company does their special effects. Okay, Judge says, sounding as skeptical as she feels. We'll see, I guess. The squad sees El Dorado. Amazing. Armadillo hype. Now, sadly, we never get to see their reactions to the armadillo. This is the only snippet into the armadillo that we see. But we know that they've seen it. It is canon. It is canon. The Warframe squad, TM, has seen Road to El Dorado. Yeah. That's one of the things about this book. It really leaves you on your toes. It leaves you wanting more. You know? Like, you want to know what happens to that mimic that was in Judge's ship. You want to know their reactions to El Dorado. Like, there's so many teasing tidbits that the author throws at you, and it makes you want to keep reading and consuming and reading more and more and more, and then they never come back to it. We never see the armadillo. But I think they do it very well. It's awesome. Anyway. Let's move on. Wait, how much time do we have? Whoa, we are only halfway through. Dang, we still have a lot of time. Not surprising since I've only read like 7 chapters. Yes. I want all those deets. Same. I want them too. I must know every second of these guys' lives because it is so fascinating. Like, I agree. I do want all these deets. Alright. Oh, that small detail, that's hilarious though. That the smell of Sheik's ship makes Alpha sleepy. So he brings his Warframe so he can fall asleep in it and like nobody notices. That's amazing. Such a beautiful detail. Well, I guess technically he brings his Warframe because it's easier to sleep when he's in transference. But it probably has the added side effect of nobody knowing that he's asleep. Very, very different from Judge, who would do everything he could to prevent falling asleep in transference. Very interesting how the characters are very different. Those small details. Anyway, moving on. Smart. Heck yeah. Him a brainy boy. Him a very brainy boy. Taps head. That's Alpha. Well, maybe not brainy, but pragmatic. That's the word I'm looking for. Pragmatic. Chapter 112. Alpha, tall and lanky, stretched out and gangly, a polearm that's able to stand on its own. Alpha calmly picks up Judge's Paris, currently weighted for Judge's Chroma, takes an arrow, draws, and fires. He hits a Grenier scout on the other side of the river straight through its head. It's instant death. How did you do that? Judge asks. Because that bow is heavy, and it's tense. Judge's Mag and Nova can't pull it when he's got it set up for his Chroma. His Anaros can pull it, but it's a little difficult. Alpha shrugs and hands the bow back to him. Practice. Judge would ask why the Alpha needed to practice drawing and aiming bows meant for Warframes while in his Tenno body, but considering who he is and who his main partner is, Judge can easily believe that the other Tenno does this just to keep his hands busy. Judge has seen the Empress, short and slender, lithe and graceful Empress, swinging around a gram and doing it well, without any sense of distress or discomfort before. She's as lethal with the gram as she is with her twin blades in and out of Warframe. Judge is pretty sure that the Empress and any sharp edge is a lethal combination. Now that he thinks about it, he hasn't seen her use any other type of melee weapon, not even a shield or polearm. You should know the feel of a weapon in any hand, the Alpha says. Like breathing, like walking. Get in your Warframe. Judge's mind doesn't actually process the words, but his body reacts on instinct. He's enveloped into his Chroma, body safely back in the transference chamber thousands of miles away, when the Alpha lets out a wave of his void energy. Judge swears he can hear everything crackle as it petrifies. Alpha turns around, eyes glowing faintly, even under the full and bright light of the sun. Chroma also turns, and Judge sees several infested beginning to creep through the grass towards them. We need to get more Grokjul, the Alpha says. They both turn towards the large and festering boil. Judge wonders which faction the Alpha dislikes more. Kore, he knows, will usually favor the Grenier against the Corpus. Kore loathes the Corpus idolization of the Orokin, but something more than that, she despises their cowardice, their inability to do anything on their own. That, and she finds amusement in destroying their research, keeping them in the dark. Though she does have an equal fondness for tormenting Tile Regor at any given chance. Judge, personally, prefers the Corpus over the Grenier. The Corpus have proven themselves to at least have standards and some code of ethics. The Grenier are just Grenier. Parasites, the Alpha says. What? Alpha points, and in the distance, Judge can see the Grenier ships that are circling the boil, defending it. Alpha fades from view as his Warframe materializes around him. Alpha begins to walk towards the boil. Empress is back. She raided 3 settlements. We can strike. Oh, well, you really told him off now, didn't you? Sheik muses. I knew you couldn't go through with it. Shut up, Punk deflates. You try talking to him. Watch and learn how it's done. Sheik claps her hands together, standing up and walking across the room to where the Alpha is standing and looking out a window at space, presumably in the direction of Earth. What are you doing? Judge asks. Well, someone kinda needs to give him a talking to every once in a while, Punk says, because he forgets things. Like, he'll forget to breathe loud to let us know he, exists in this dimension. Or he'll just stop moving for a few hours, and we all think that he must have gone to sleep for real or something, and then he'll suddenly do something and scare the pants off of us. Usually, he's pretty good at doing something big and obvious so we know he's around. He is? Like, you know how sometimes he'll be right behind you and you don't know it, but then he says something and you have a stroke? That's his loud noise. Lately, he hasn't been doing that. He's just there for a while, and then you turn around and bam, Oberon in the face.
I think he's been real distracted. This usually happens when something is bothering him, but Alpha's kind of like Percy. He keeps all this mess on the inside.
Punk explains.
So we have to give him a talk about how he needs to share things with other people so that other people can help him. He gets too much inside his own head.
Judge can't imagine the Alpha having problems that he can't solve.
What was bothering him the last time?
Punk shrugs.
It's usually nothing too difficult. I think last time he was stuck on something someone said in passing. Not to him. He just overheard it, and it confused him a lot, but he didn't want to ask because he thought it would make him sound stupid.
All right, buddy, Sheik says, tugging Oberon's wrist as she brings Alpha over to them. Sit down and let's work this out. Oberon begins to levitate as he enters a meditation pose. Punk and Sheik copy him in their own warframes. Judge follows suit after. Alpha and I did some talking, and I figured out his problem, Sheik says. He wants to know if Hades and Persephone are his friends. Judge's mind is a complete and confused blank. Because Punk here calls Persephone Percy, and Hades and I are always teaming up, Sheik continues. The Alphas is worried that you only hang around him because he just happens to be there. He wants to know if you guys are friends or not. Oberon turns a little towards Sheik. They must have a private line on or something because Sheik nods and adds on, and if you aren't friends, he wants to know how you can be friends.
Aw, buddy, Punk says. That's what's got you all knotted up. Of course you guys are friends, right, Judge?
Judge nods, still flabbergasted by this surreal experience he's having right now. If Corey were here, she'd have tried to blast herself through a window to escape, or chewed her own tongue off to prevent self-incrimination.
Yes, Judge says. I mean, yes, yeah, we're friends.
Judge swears that the leaves of Oricon's body get larger, like they're blooming or something. Brighter? All around nicer in general? Something.
Alpha is too pure for this world. He's too pure.
This is such a cutie. This poor phlegmatic introvert. I love him. Anyway. You want to know everything about their lives. Stalker incoming. They're fictional characters. It's fine. Their whole lives are on display for everyone to see, right? That's how it works. Actually, no, that does sound really creepy when I say it out loud like that. Never mind. But no, like, okay, it's the author's fault for being so good at world building. Like, they build this beautiful and well meshed together, I don't know, world that just makes you want to know more about their characters. Like, the characters are that good. Give me a break. Give me a break. Likely story. I like the story. There you go. That is the likely story. It is that I like the story. Wait. Oh, no. Oh, no. What is going on? Why do I have to wait? But yeah, that's so cute. Alpha needs to remember to make a noise because otherwise people are going to get spooked by him. And B, he wasn't making the noise because he was too busy trying to figure out whether or not he was friends with his friends. This poor child. You still want your armadillo reaction? I don't know how else to break it to you, my dude. I want it too. I want it too. Don't you worry.
Back by popular request, the armadillo reaction.
They have another chapter later on where they tease you in exactly the same thing, where it's the squad about to do something really cool, and then we never see them do it. That happens a lot in this story, but it makes you want it, right? That's probably good. You thought you had a witty comeback? Ah, it appears you have thought wrong. All of the witty comebacks are mine. You're not allowed any of them.
I own them all and I never spend them, which is why I never have any witty comebacks. It's like health potions, you know? It's like all the potions you accumulate during an RPG and you just hoard them up, and someone's like, why don't you use one? And it's like, no, I need to save them. I might need it more later on. And you just never use them, and you beat the final boss and you have like 5 trillion potions. That's me. I'm hoarding all the snappy comebacks and not using them. You're too dead right now? Well, may your deadness decrease over the span of your life. Anyway, hoarder, heck yeah. Heck, I've always been a hoarder. One look at my inventories in any video game and you'll see I'm a hoarder. That's why I love Warframe so much, because it's a digital hoarding simulator. Alright, anyway, let's move on to the next chapter. Chapter 113. I got stressed, Corey says, lying down in the middle of her bedroom floor. Her scarf has been discarded and is currently in the possession of her Djinn Sentinel. It's rolled itself up until it's a bundle of undulating fabric tucked into a corner of the room as far away from Corey's path as possible. Judge looks around and doesn't recognize anything, except the fish. The giant Yagwan and the Norg being the main two, because they're always just front and center on either side of the display that houses Corey's Saren. The giant Yagwan and the Norg being the main two, because they're always just front and center on either side of the display that houses Corey's Saren, now that she's mostly using her Nidus. Saren doesn't have eyes, but it feels like the Warframe is watching him as he walks around, taking in all the new details. Corey's living quarters, her entire ship, honestly, has always been meticulously Spartan compared to his, and lighter overall, both in terms of her orbiter's lighting actually being better than his and having a lighter color scheme. I can see that, Judge says, looking towards the corner where her aquarium meets orbiter wall. He's seen something through the glass and water, but wasn't sure if it was a shadow or one of the fish being weird. Is that argon? Isn't that kind of dangerous? What could radiation do to me that the void hasn't already? Corey says, rolling onto her back. Ortis, cut the heat, will you? I'm sweating. Operator, the temperature has been turned down 3 times, Ortis protests. Any further, the risk of disease sets in. Ortis? There's a passive-aggressive click and the sound of the ship's cooling units activating with a gust of freezing air coming through the vents. Judge shivers. He feels the goosebumps rising over his skin. Corey's ship is usually warmer than his, so he'd just come over in a shirt and some loose pants. He didn't even bring shoes. Corey sighs in relief, though, and sprawls out further on the ground. Judge stares at her sweat-shiny skin. Her clothes are damp and sticking to her body. He's pretty sure that the only time she's sweated like that before was when she was dangerously ill from a virus she had gotten on a Grenier prison ship, and that was ages ago. Judge also got sick, so he was probably imagining most of it too. Skyla had to throw him into an ice bath to get him stable. Judge is probably remembering the entire thing wrong. His brain cooked like an egg. What are you doing exactly? Judge asks, hugging himself and doing his best not to bite his own tongue with his chattering teeth. Remodeling, Corey says into the floor. I don't know what came over me, honestly. I guess I don't know. I needed to do something and I was getting irritated staring at the blank walls. All of that sounds absolutely bizarre because Corey can sit and stare at a wall without talking for hours and be totally fine. Why is argon stuck to the ceiling? It's a decorative piece. It's not even real argon. You're starting to turn out like me. Judge takes another look around. She's rearranged her few noggles. Almost all of them came from his collection whenever she's helped him clean out his ship. The rest are all gifts from the Lotus. The Lotus gives them out every year to celebrate the 10 out of cryosleep and back to living. She's moved her insignias, too. She's got one for Suda, the Red Veil, and Steel Meridian on one of the lower shelves. They look a little lonely underneath her arrangement of Ayatan sculptures on the larger compartment above it. He continues looking around. She's moved her extra Steel Meridian insignia to the large window next to her pet bed, and she's put a holograph display above it, showing an image of a Kubro running in grass. Cute. She also has a hologram on the wall between one of the glass aquariums and the Ayatan display case.
It's some sort of stylized portrait of a mesa. Judge's chest and stomach flutter a little. The little entirely too arrogant idea of her choosing a mesa because he likes mesa blooms in his chest. He isn't quite fast enough to nip it before it can scatter gold, fizzing, fluttering dust all over his ribs. Not by a long shot, Corey says. She lifts a hand. Up. Judge bends down, grasping her arm, grimacing. Her palm and arm are hot and wet with sweat. Did you anchor that fake argon to the ceiling with your bare hands? Why are you so hot? I had Umbra hold it up, Corey says. Jin, muffled, lets out a bubbling whir and thumps against the glass as it tries to roll out of its self-created trap. Judge would help it, except that his skin is exposed and her Jin has a tendency to let out clouds of toxin when overly excited. He learned that the hard way. Corey turns to look at it, waves a dismissive hand. It'll be fine. Something will help it eventually. Something? Empress the Charger, the Unspeakable One, Ortis, Umbra, Alpha the Kubro, I don't know. Maybe I'll help it later if it's still there when it's time for me to enter a sleep cycle. Anyway, good thing you're here. I need your help. Judge sticks as close as he can to Corey without making it overly obvious that he's trying to steal some of the heat radiating off of her. It can't be just her void powers. It really can't. That would mean Judge is giving out static electricity all the time, and that would explain a lot of things, actually. Corey runs a hand through her hair, grimacing. I'm going to shower and change. I feel disgusting. While I do that, you grab some protein brick and flavor powered from my storage, and wait for me back here. I'm trying something experimental on some of my weapons, and I want your input. The idea of you wanting my input on your weapons is astounding. You're just gonna go to the opposite of whatever I say, aren't you? Only if you suggest something completely contrary. After that, you feel less dead. Hey! Glad to hear you're less dead. Even if it's only a tiny increment, that works. That works. Alright, how much time we got? We've still got tons of time. Why? It feels like I've been reading for hours and hours, but it's only been 2 hours. Wow, okay. I guess my sense of time is just really skewed today for some reason. Alright, continuing on with chapter 114. Oh, why did I say that? Chapter 114. Guys, why didn't we try and make NASA the locals of Venus sooner? This is amazing! Punk yells out as he flips high over their heads on his new K-Drive. He flips 3 times and then enters a spin as he hits the snow and ice-covered embankment, immediately whirling his board around to find something else to launch himself off of. Judge isn't anywhere near that level, and he isn't going to be anytime soon. And Corey's doing as abysmally at this as she does at Arkwing. Hernitas' sharp talons are digging into Nova's arm as she tries to maintain her balance on her basic K-Drive. I hate Venus, Corey murmurs under her breath on their private channel. I hate Venus, hate the Corpus, hate K-Drives, hate... Judge tunes her out as he watches Punk go flying off some ramps into the air, whooping in delight. There's a black and red shape approaching them on a fast-moving K-Drive. Judge raises his free hand and waves as the There's a black and red shape approaching them on a fast-moving K-Drive. Judge raises his free hand and waves at the Empress as she comes to a neat stop next to them. I've lost Alpha, she says. There's a loud crash as Punk falls back to the ground. Judge turns to fully face her, momentarily forgetting Corey on his other arm as she falls off her K-Drive face first with an angry hiss. You lost Alpha? Judge still can't believe they got Alpha to leave Earth for Venus. When Sheik first invited them all to come join her, Alpha's face kind of made a face without any muscle changes, but that face loudly and clearly said no thank you. The Tenno can barely tolerate the Grenier mining outposts on Earth. Venus is an entire planetary colony based on harvesting the planet's resources. As far as they know, it's nothing but rock and snow and factories as far as the eye can see. And now they lost him? I lost him, the Empress repeats, sounding a touch frazzled, which makes Judge feel like maybe the world is about to end? Or maybe like space is about to collapse in on itself. The Empress is not someone you ever want to hear, see, or even think as anything other than satisfied. He was overwhelmed by the Fortuna colony, the machines and such. Right? Who's saying this? Sorry. Right? Judge leans down to help Corey up as she drags her nidus up his Nova's body, kicking the K-drive aside with an angry curse. And then what? So we left. Or we were leaving. But then he was gone. Vanished. Disappeared. The Empress pauses, folding her arms across her Saren's chest. He hasn't done that to me in years. Did I upset him? I must have upset him. I have to find him. He shouldn't be upset on a planet that upsets him, with people that upset him. I should have talked about him coming here. She abruptly turns around and yells out into the ice and snow, Alpha, where are you? Is she losing her mind? Punk asks them. Is this the Empress losing her mind? Is the world gone mad? Corey, meanwhile, picks up her K-drive and starts smacking it against a rock. The thing is so old that it doesn't even fizzle or dent. It's probably the original thing. A basic board and circuits.
Why is everyone yelling? Can you yell through your speakers and not through the comms? Sheik says, sounding irritated. I'm trying to get in with the underground merchants here, and it's not helping that you're all yelling into my brain.
We lost the Alpha, Judge explains.
How do you lose Alpha? Sheik repeats, flabbergasted. The Empress is right there. I understand Punk losing Alpha. I understand one of us, individually, losing Alpha. I even understand the four of us losing Alpha. But the Empress losing Alpha?
The Empress is also maybe losing it, Punk says. Separation anxiety? The Empress deploys an Arcwing unit and shoots straight up into the gray sky. Judge turns around to tell Corey that he's going to go after her, but Corey's also gone. Judge turns around, and around, and around. Wait, I lost Persephone! Wait.
How the heck are you? Is this some sort of horror show? How are you guys getting picked off one by one? I thought you were just messing around with K-drives. I'm coming over.
I don't know. Judge feels his own panic start to rise. Sheik, don't leave me, Punk says. Everyone's partners are getting picked off one by one. Don't leave me, Joy. I'll die without you.
I'm glad you acknowledge it, Sheik replies dryly. I'm on my way.
Persephone? Judge yells, opening up his scanner to try and see if he can find her that way. Persephone! There's no sign of either Tenno for about 3 Earth hours, which Judge isn't sure how to translate to Venus time. The Empress is sitting on a pipe looking quite dumbfounded by this turn of events, her Warframe standing next to her. Sheik is trying to comfort her, while Punk is sticking close to Sheik out of fear that she'll suddenly disappear. Judge has been trying to ping Corey, but she's either very far and the signal is cutting, or she's ignoring him. Maybe she's pissed about the K-drive? He said it smelled bad, and it was loud, the Empress says, and that he wanted to go home. Did he just leave? How come he isn't answering my comms? What if he's hurt? What if he got lost? These are all rational explanations that do not apply to someone as irrational as the Alpha. Alpha himself has plenty of his own brand of logic, but something about him executing his logic defies the laws of everyone else. Changed my mind. Everyone turns at once and sees Alpha's Oberon standing, hauling something over his back. Staying on Fortuna. Work not done, Alpha says. This is the chattiest Judge thinks he's ever heard the Tenno. Have to get back. Work to do. Ran out of. Alpha scuffs his Oberon's hoof against the ground and shrugs. Send to Orbiter. Need help carrying. Alpha continues and proceeds to kneel down, and about 6 different creatures climb off his back. Heavy. What? I hate the K-drives, Corey says, and everyone spins around and sees her hauling a giant animal in her arms like it's a baby. Who needs that garbage? Hey, look, I found a new space dog. Alpha seems to perk up. Same.
Empress's eyes are wide. You disappeared without a trace for 3 hours because you found wildlife on Venus. Alpha seems to dim a little. Oh. Yes, oh. I didn't even see you go, the Empress says, staring at him. I thought you left me. Alpha shrinks in on himself. You weren't responding to my messages. Alpha tilts his head. None? You didn't get them? He shakes his head. Empress sighs and puts her head in her hands. Alpha, darling, you scared the life out of me. Please try not to abruptly disappear after explicitly stating how unhappy you are. Judge looks at Corey. I got yours, Corey says, looking straight at him, but I was busy hunting things and you were being annoying. How does time work in space? As you can tell, the characters are having a hard time measuring time. They usually go by Earth hours, but sometimes I think Punk usually goes by like Sedna hours, and once in a while Corey will go by like Venus hours. I don't know. Right, in this chapter they measured time by Earth hours. But yeah, each planet has a different planetary rotation, so there you go. Fair point. Hey, Haru! Hello! Hey! Thanks. Perfectly worded. This is the time. Whoa. Drop the mic! That's what I was thinking. Thank you for dropping the mic. Perfectly executed. But yeah. I couldn't think of anything to say, so I figured, hey, why not just do a generic message? Anyway, hey, maybe it'll help make people more confident having a format to follow. I don't know. But hey, thanks for making me laugh with that mic drop there. Anyway, welcome to the stream. We are reading the book, Seas You Could Sing So Deep and Strong. We're on chapter 115, but don't let that intimidate you. They're very self-contained chapters. You don't have to know anything other than the characters. But yeah, welcome. I don't. Yeah, never mind. My brain, brains. Gotta love them, gotta hate them. Anyway, let's go on to the next chapter. Chapter 115. So much and so little has changed. Judge quietly marvels at how different the things are, while the grander picture still comes together as a cohesive whole that slots perfectly into place with memory. Corey's Nidus is sitting close to the stone walls, just out of reach of the moonlit moonlight coming in from the circular opening above them. Judge's Ononaro stands straight and still, with its arms crossed over its chest next to it. Corey herself is in the middle of throwing a thresh cone for their Kubro to chase after and fetch for her. Midas bounds down the slope into the water and glade with loud barks while Hajira follows at a slightly more sedated pace, letting Judge's Kubro win before playfully tackling him and wrestling him for the thresh cone. Judge sits back on his palms, watching her, a strange knot in his chest. Hey, Corey? Yeah? She asks, not looking at him, but standing at the edge next to the ritual altar for summoning the spirit of the grove. She's looking over the edge and watching their Kubro tussle. Don't worry, Hajira knows how to control herself. Midas is going to be fine. I know that. I mean, could you come over here for a second? Corey turns around and walks towards him. Judge pats the space next to him on the blanket, moving so that he's lying down. Corey shrugs and lies down next to him. Stargazing? Corey asks. Judge looks up at the sky and imagines that one of the beautiful lights up there is one of their ships. Or maybe the Alpha ship, since he's who's keeping the area clear for them tonight. Honestly, if Judge had known the Alpha sooner, he'd probably owe a lot less people favors. He turns to look at her, and she's already looking back. Her eyes glow, and his probably do too. If he looks close enough, he thinks that maybe he could see the magenta specks of his eyes reflected in hers.
I was doing some research,
Judge says, turning onto his side, their knees knocking against each other. Corey doesn't pull away. It's the skin that gets her, all that bare contact right up against every nerve. Judge could slide his hand up her arm and over her shoulder and to the back of her neck right now, and it would be nothing to her because of all the fabric between. But if he took off his glove and touched his fingertip to the side of her face, all bets would be off. As you do, Corey says, nudging his knee with hers. All right, and
I found this story.
Judge turns onto his stomach and pulls out one of the holo projectors he uses on his ship and sets it up in front of them.
An old Earth story. A super old Earth story. Like, so old, even the people living on Earth thought it was old.
Yikes, that's old.
I know, right? Anyway.
Sorry. Judge can hear Corey moving next to him, and her shoulder bumps into his, a bit of pink at the very peripheral of his vision as he finishes setting up. He can feel the heat of her energy radiating through her into him.
I found this story, and it's about us.
Us?
Well, not us, Corey and Judge. I mean, Persephone and Hades. It's the story about our call signs,
Judge says.
It's like the Oracle knew we were going to find each other one day and become...
Judge stumbles over the word.
Partners.
Partners, Corey repeats dubiously. So, it's a story about people with our call signs becoming partners?
Yeah, Judge says. More than partners?
Friends?
More than that.
Enemies?
Wait, why did you go backwards? No, more than friends in a good way.
Judge, there isn't anything better than friends. The only thing better than friends is, I don't know, whatever you are. I don't have a word for it. Judge feels an electric burst in him, and Corey yelps. It probably wasn't just in him.
Sorry,
Judge says, turning, and Corey's hair is frizzy and standing on end with static. Corey grimaces, trying to smooth her hair down. He can hear the crackle of the static. He honestly has no idea how she can stand him sometimes. He cringes just thinking about some of the things he does, even while he's doing them.
Right, yeah, I mean, just listen, okay?
Judge blusters on, well aware that Corey's sort of beaten him to saying it. Though he's pretty sure that if he went about trying to get Corey to say it on clearer terms, she'd leave.
So on old Earth, they believed that there was a god named Hades who ruled over the dead as Lord of the Underworld.
You rule over anything? Sounds wrong already.
I was changed to the core of an asteroid for decades, Corey, Judge points out, and I was kind of the strongest person there, so it sort of fits.
All right, go on then, Lord of the Underworld.
Thank you.
Judge clears his throat, tapping the holograph and bringing up a picture of a man in some kind of robe.
And there was also this woman named Persephone who was the goddess of spring.
I kind of know that part, Corey says. I learned some things. I just don't remember everything I used to know.
That's how forgetting works usually.
Judge taps the machine again. This time it brings up a picture of a woman in a flowing dress, sitting with flowers in her arms.
One day Hades went up to the surface for some reason. I'm not sure why. And when he was going around, he saw Persephone and he fell.
Judge's voice cracks up a full and embarrassing octave higher.
In love with her at first sight.
Corey, thankfully, says nothing, just nudges him with her shoulder to continue the story.
And he takes her down into the underworld with him.
I think I studied this, or was made to study this. The abduction of Persephone?
Well, in some stories, Judge says, when I was looking into it, text sources were unclear if she was unwilling or if she decided to go along with it. If you go back far enough, there's some hints that there was no Hades at all, and it was Persephone from the start. Then someone just added Hades in later, because, men. So Hades and Persephone are in the underworld, Judge says, tapping the hologram and changing the image to show the two figures sitting next to each other. But Persephone's mom was really unhappy about it.
Demeter, goddess of farming, I think. Or food? Farming or food?
Both, sort of, Judge says. She held back her gifts and made people starve in order to get her daughter back.
Winter,
Right.
And when Persephone came back to her mother, Spring. Corey sticks her hand through the hologram as Judge changes it to show the woman being taken away by an older lady, flowers in their wake.
But before that,
Judge changes it again to show the man holding a fruit out to the woman.
pomegranates. Persephone ate 6 pomegranate seeds, so she would have to come back.
She didn't know.
Or did she?
Judge retorts, quickly sitting up and jogging over to his Warframe, pulling us out a small bundle from his pack and going back to join Corey on the blanket. He sets the bundle down in front of her.
Look.
He opens it to reveal 3 dark red fruit.
Pomegranates.
Judge says. Corey's eyes widen. Pomegranates? Where from?
The alpha. He has groves of them, and they're in season. Winter waiting for spring.
Judge says, taking one and holding it over the grass as he cracks it open. Dark red juice splatters a little, black in the darkness.
Have you ever had one?
Judge had asked the alpha if he knew about any fruit similar to a pomegranate, because at the time Judge was pretty sure that the actual thing was extinct or mutated. The alpha just stared at him before deploying an Arcwing, grabbing Judge, and flying for about 2 hours and dumping him in a grove of trees groaning with fruit. The alpha then proceeds to pull them off the branches at random and thrust them at Judge, intoning, pomegranate, pomegranate, pomegranate. No, Corey says, sitting up and watching his hands excitedly. I think I saw one when I was little. Really little. But I didn't eat it. They were expensive, I think. We couldn't afford any.
I don't remember ever eating one either,
Judge says, holding half out to her.
but I figure since it's part of the story that gave us our names, maybe we should give it a shot?
Corey grins, stripping her gloves off and tossing them aside, taking her half. How do I do this? Judge takes his own gloves off and examines the fruit.
The Empress said you don't eat the actual fruit. You pick the seeds out, and that's what you eat. She said you can spit the pith out or swallow it.
Judge carefully peels back a pale, waxy film to reveal several deep-colored nodules, like kernels almost. Corey copies him and gently wiggles one free. It's so small. Would anyone get full on this? Corey asks.
If you ate the whole fruit, maybe,
Judge says.
Cheers!
They both put a single seed into their mouth. There's a surprising burst of tartness, but it feels good. Refreshing. Judge rolls the seed around his mouth and plucks another. Corey makes a pleased sound as they continue to eat through their pomegranate halves. Is this to mean I'm supposed to stick around with you for half a year? Corey asks.
You have so far. I don't think I need a pomegranate to make you do it,
Judge says.
I just thought, well, you like food. I thought it would be interesting.
Corey grins, pomegranate juice staining her lips red. You aren't wrong. You won't know? You don't have one of those things called brains? Press X to doubt. I don't know, man. The fact that you could coherently type a response to a thing that I said means that you're not a robot, because I don't think robots have that level of sophistication just yet. So I'm just going to choose not to believe this blatant lie being flung into my face. But there you go. There you go. Beep, boop. Not. See, now you're faking it. Fake robot alert. Fake robot. Got a lot of time left. Let's see, we start with chapter 5. Let's see if we can get to chapter 120 before the end of the stream. Brains are just malfunction on the regular. Excuse me. That's true. But just because they malfunction all the time doesn't mean that he don't have one. He just has a non-functioning brain, but he has one. Pats him on the brain. Gives him brain scritches. There we go. You get brain scritches. That cracks me up. The brain scritches. Oh my goodness. For context, in case you weren't here last time I read this story, so the Nidus Frike skin has an open brain. So apparently if you run your fingers over it, it feels like warm sunshine on your brain or something. So Corey will have Judge give her brain scritches every once in a while, and it's amazing. I love it. Anyway. Oh! It doesn't sound good. No, it's actually... Okay. I gotta get you a picture of the Warframe. Here. Let me just get you a picture of the Warframe. Because context is awesome. Here goes. Nidus. I love the Nidus Frike skin. It is beautiful. I own it and it looks amazing. Let me find a picture that actually shows the brain. None of these pictures show the brain. But they're very... Oh, these pictures are so good. Brain, please. I guess this one kind of shows the brain. Oh, here's a good brain picture. All right, let's swap over. Oh, I'm on the other side. That's right. Here you go. Brain. Oh, okay. I'm supposed to, oh, image in new tab, not picture. Image. So I can make it big. Where's the button? Image. There we go. Zoom. There you go. See this is the skin, and as you can see all this blue up here, he's got the brain exposed. So you can give him brain scritches. Very nice, very wholesome, very pleasant. Also, this skin is amazing. Look at this. Look at this beauty. He is beauty. He is grace. No wonder Corey's in love with him. Anyway, these jelly arms. The jelly arms. Anyway. And the eyeballs on the shoulders. Look at them. Eyeballs on the shoulders. Zoom. Shoulder eyeballs. Who doesn't love shoulder eyeballs? Look at this beautiful boy. This beautiful boy. And his loyal doggo. Amazing. Anyway, there's the brain scritches guy. Stay away from your non-existing brain. Close out all these tabs. Ba-da-da-da. All right, moving on. Chapter 116.
I'm glad that my boy and your girl are best friends now,
Sheik says to him as she happily transfers thousands of Corpus credits to her own accounts.
I love Punk a stupid amount, but that doesn't mean I can help him keep up with his stupid, you know?
Judge thinks he knows, except he can't tell if Jude and Corey are best friends, or if Jude is just stuck on Corey like Emotes is on Handsome. Also, he's pretty sure Corey's the one keeping up with his stupid, not the other way around.
Anyway, Sheik says, that leaves me time to work on my business.
Void dealing?
Barrow's got nothing on me,
Sheik says, and Judge 100% believes her. He's caught a glimpse of some of the accounts she's running, and the numbers make him feel lightheaded just thinking about them. She deals in about 1 million or more credits per hour.
And since my boy's keeping your girl busy, that means more time for me to pick your brain.
On what? Judge asks.
Your tricks for cracking consoles, for one thing, Sheik says, and any possible leads or hints you might have that would get me a good leg up on the competition. You know how prissy the Corpus are about non-Corpus making it big? Very.
Is that why you're always on Europa?
Aside from it being a short jump away from the nearest void port? Heck yeah,
Sheik says. There's a sudden burst of sound through the comms, as well as the sound of Punk yelling and Corey snarling.
I'm so glad he's with your girl,
Sheik repeats, and mimes switching her comms to mute. Judge does not switch his comms to mute, but he does have Skyla turn the volume down and ask her to keep background tabs on anything alarming that might come through and let him know.
I wish I could say the same.
Judge replies honestly. Corey's either going to drag him back to their ships by his Sayandana, swearing Punk's name, or she's just going to leave him in Sheik's hands until he can extract himself on his own.
She might kill him.
She might, Sheik says. I'm a gambling tenno. I'll take those chances.
Judge has no idea how he's surrounded himself in such overwhelmingly confident and powerful people. It would be nice if some of that could rub off on him. Any day. Any day now, really.
I miss him already, Judge chokes. Sometimes I can still hear him screaming.
Pump's scream is slightly muffled through the airlock doors, but it is still audible. For someone who doesn't run an Octavia or Banshee, he's got a very loud set of lungs. Sheik snorts, laughing and giving him a light punch to the shoulder.
I like you more and more all the time.
Thanks, Judge says. Are you done robbing them blind?
The Corpus have always been blind, and it's not robbing them when these are my credits to start with. I shouldn't have to pay Corpus taxes.
Nevertheless, Sheik disconnects the transfer.
Do your thing, babes.
Judge takes her place at the console and gets to work hiding their tracks as much as possible while leaving a few surprises in case anyone would think about trying to do a trace and take the money back. Corey's too busy picking Grineer Viscera off her Venka to actually help him. Judge is almost annoyed with her about it, except he'd much rather her Venka be clean. The image of that eyeball right in the center, staring at him with a slight pink film of blood over it, is incredibly disturbing. Also, the drying blood and gunk on the claws themselves look like a huge pain to get rid of when they've solidified and crusted.
Are they worth it?
Judge asks as he tries to wrestle Grineer body parts out of Cadmus's jaws. Cadmus seems to think it's a fun game and is holding on with a powerful grip. It's kind of his job, so Judge doesn't begrudge the Kubro that, but it would be nice if he could let go. Judge doesn't keep his ship like Corey does. He doesn't let his Kubro bring back body parts to play with later. He has no idea how her ship is still so clean with all of that stuff being brought back on a daily basis. Maybe she's using the body parts in experiments with Helmuth later for all he knows. I'm scrapping them, Corey says, flexing her hands open and closed. There's a soft sound of metal sheathing and unsheathing as she flexes. The eyes on the back of the claws spin to look at him before looking back at Corey. Judge watches the metal claws retract and extend. They seem a little slow, sluggish. They must not yet be cleaned enough. It's not my style. I think I'm going to try a new stance with my Aegis next.
A new one?
The Alpha showed it to me. It moves faster than the one I'm currently using. I'll experiment. Maybe I'll do better with a shield this way. Judge does associates Corey's melee attacks with speed rather than defense.
I'm surprised you don't like daggers.
The reach is the same as the claws, Corey says. Or just about, for me at least. I'll take the sword.
You hated using the Amphis.
I kept thinking it was a Grineer in the corner of my eye and almost kept clubbing myself in the face, Corey says. I hit you on the butt once.
Twice, Judge says. Wild channeling.
I'll stick with swords when I can.
I like it when you stick with swords,
Judge says, finally wrenching the arm free. Cadmus immediately goes to grab a Grineer leg.
Hey, no! Cadmus, no!
Corey whistles and throws Cadmus a deactivated grenade. Cadmus goes chasing after it.
If that thing goes off...
It won't, Corey replies, returning to cleaning her claws. I already had Isha go through that one. If it was going to go off, it was going to go off on him.
I can't believe you'd risk Isha like that.
And before that, I stole it from your cat.
Handsome had a live grenade?
Either she defused it, or it died just by being around her. I prefer to believe the latter. A little kitty cat in a box. How cute. How cute. Alright, we got time. We can make it to chapter 120, I believe. Actually, no. We're probably going to make it to 119. But we're close. We're close.
Chapter 117.
Persephone, I gave that Moa a stomp function.
Judge says, exasperated as he watches Corey's nidus adjust the Moa tucked under her arm. The Moa lets out a series of beeps as it swivels its head around to inspect their surroundings. Moas are about 80% leg, Hades, Corey replies. Do you know the weakest part of a Moa?
The legs!
Punk yells out from across the hallway, voice echoing through the metal room. Nidus's other arm points at Punk. The idiot is right 2 times a day, and this is one of them, she says.
Oh, that was Punk, not Hades. Whoops, let's start over.
Okay. Chapter 117.
Persephone, I gave that Moa a stomp function,
Judge says, exasperated as he watches Corey's nidus adjust the Moa tucked under its arm. The Moa lets out a series of beeps as it swivels its head around to inspect their surroundings. Moas are about 80% leg, Hades, Corey replies. Do you know the weakest part of a Moa?
The legs!
Punk yells out from across the hallway, voice echoing through the metal room. Nidus's other arm points at Punk. The idiot is right 2 times a day, and this is one of them, she says. A Moa's weakest point, the legs. What's it made of? Legs. One of the Moa's legs stretches out, metal toes splaying as it attempts to reach the floor. Corey gently takes the foot and folds the leg back underneath the rest of the Moa, tucking it into place. The Moa's head sort of scrunches down close to its body, like it's sulking. You made this thing for me, and I don't know how you did it, but you made it so that it would be like if you were a metal corpus machine. This Moa is literally you if you were a Moa. I've got to protect it. It's a walking leg target. You've seen how fast you can plow through a Moa stampede? You just crouch and whack with any relatively long object. They go down fast. It's like cutting grass.
Persephone, I can build you a new Moa, Judge says. It's got so many precepts. It can hack, it can set up a defense field, it can do a burst area of effect when it stomps. Just put it down.
I don't want this one to get broken. I don't want a new Moa, Corey insists. I want to keep this one. Judge is a little touched by Corey's defensiveness over the Moa he'd given her. He worked hard on it, true, but not as hard as he'd worked on his own. Mostly because he didn't think she'd like it to start with. She'd rolled her eyes at all of his previous experiments in trying to build Moas on his own prior to coming to Fortuna. He's also a little frustrated that she likes the thing so much, but won't even let it do what it's built to do, what he built it to do. Corey cradles the Moa, folded up as small and as compact as it can get, to her chest, like you'd hold a baby, like she holds her Kubro sometimes, never mind how big they are. Alpha comes over, wrenching one of his arrows out of a corpus corpse that's limply hanging over the railway on the way. He stands next to Corey, Oberon's head tilted down towards the Moa. Corey offers the other Tenno the Moa, and he holds out his hand for the Moa to inspect. The Moa, surprisingly, seems to cringe back and makes a series of upset mechanical chirps and squeaks until Corey holds it away from the Alpha. The Oberon dims a little. Sorry, Corey says, awkwardly patting the Alpha's shoulder. Maybe it's because you're so organic? One of Oberon's elegant fingers extends and pokes one of the translucent arms folded tight against Nidus's flesh. I mean, you know what I mean, Corey fumbles. You've got earth all over you. Alpha, green fields, trees groaning with fruit, arches of flowers, sprays of leaves, glimmering blue water, and rolling hills.
Yeah, no offense, buddy, Punk says. Maybe it can sense the grass on you. Corpus aren't too keen on grass and stuff. You never see gardens on Corpus ships or anything, right?
Judge has never seen the Alpha's strange and peculiar ability to charm wildlife into trusting and adoring him instantly fail to work. It works on wild Kubro, in and out of Oberon. It works on foxes, on rabbits, on birds, on butterflies, on lizards, on everything. It also kind of worked on Corey, but Judge isn't going to say that out loud. Treno shrugs, as if shrugging off the Moa's rejection.
Maybe it's just this Moa, Judge says. It could warm up to you eventually.
Alpha quietly walks away towards the direction Sheik went off to, setting his bow on his back and pulling his daggers as he walks.
It's going to be okay. Do you really think I'd build you something fragile?
Judge says. Honestly, the only reason he didn't give it an aggressive personality program is because he feels like maybe Corey could use something a bit more mellow following her around. And if he put in the cheerful program, he thought maybe she'd end up ditching it in her orbiter. Now that he knows she's maybe bonded with it a little too strongly in the wrong ways that don't involve her using the thing as intended, and instead holding it like some sort of accessory, he thinks maybe he should have given it the more aggressive programming. Maybe it'd have jumped out of her arms. Well, Hades, Corey says mockingly, knowing me, do you think I'd willingly hang around people who make me want to scream any chance I get? Corey pivots and stomps the ground, causing a line of mutation to burst out in front of her, barely missing clipping Punk.
That's different. He kind of appears randomly, like the Stalker or Zanuka or an assassination squad, Judge says. It's less about you inviting him along, so much as it is him just always being there for you, because that's what friends do.
Gross.
I'm like that too. Arguably worse because I show up on your ship.
Yeah, but I like you, Corey says. Even when you're annoying me, it isn't a hardship to have you breathing in my ear all day and night cycle. He has no idea how she always says these things that make his chest feel like they've been taken over by Titania's razor flies. But she does, and he kind of wants to sit down and laugh into his hands for a little bit like he's a lunatic.
I believe you can do it. Legs. Yes, all the legs. Legomoa. But also, this chapter confirms Alpha is a Disney princess. Alpha Disney princess confirmed? Confirmed. Animals gather around him. Nope, nobody has mentioned this in the comments section. That is a shame. It is an outrage. Alpha is confirmed. Actual Disney princess. Animals flock to him. They see him and they think, oh yeah, he's the guy. And they just instantly lay down at his feet and ask for pets. Like this guy. Anyway, we gotta get to chapter 120 before the end of the stream. Oh, we only have 5 minutes left. It's okay. We'll do it. Chapter 118. Corey feels and hears someone calling out to her. She feels herself being shaken, and she's awake enough to know that she's come off... She feels herself being shaken, and she's awake enough to know that she's come off 7 back-to-back Axie-grade Fisher runs on Eris, 4 solo, and 3 in a squad with Judge, Jude, and Joy. Corey loathes the sheer amount of alliteration she's surrounded in. There's absolutely no reason for her to be awake. The stalker could have broken onto her ship again and she wouldn't care enough to wake up. Umbra and Ortis could wipe the floor with that scum. What? Corey groans, trying to pull her blanket over her head. Operator, Ortis says. It must be one of the specters he's controlling. Operator, wake up! Operator, you said you wanted to know when there is a bounty with Nitane. She did say that. Vauban had sapped all of her Nitane. She doesn't even use Vauban, and she's been scrambling to get enough together for her other equipment. She's getting by, but not comfortably. She could always start making Nitane from her fragments, but she's short on plastids too, and she's not going to do what she did on Ceres on Saturn. Void. Corey still gets a sick sense of dread and nausea every time they pass Ceres on the way to Jupiter. She's logged in so many hours on Ceres that her stats changed, bringing her Ember up to 3rd most used of her Warframes. If she'd been clever enough, instead of desperate and trying to outpace her Argon's half-life, she would have formatted one of her weapons. It'd have been maxed again by the time she was done. Operator, Ortis shakes her some more, and Corey hates her past self for doing this to her. What time is it? Corey asks. 400 in Earth hours. Ortis replies promptly. Corey's been asleep for 2 hours. Is it worth it? Corey throws the blanket back, glaring at Ortis's plain specter. She could glare at a wall and Ortis's cameras would pick it up. Bounty type. Hijack.
Lovely. She can't even bring her Nidus. Nidus has no shields. She recently remodded her Saren, but she hasn't tested the build yet. She'd rather not take her untested Saren into a hijack mission. Corey puts her hands over her face and groans. Somewhere around her foot, she feels her Jin wriggle, a hot, smooth, ticklish motion that makes her toes curl. She can feel the small puffs of its exhaust. Hopefully it isn't spitting out toxic gas in its sleep mode again. And she gives it a very gentle nudge so that it rolls away from her. She can always take in her Ember, but she hasn't used that frame in a while. And while she was also running an experimental build on it. And she was also running an experimental build on it. Umbra? There's a slight shift of shadows, and Corey turns to see the Warframe standing on the other side of the main fish tank, distorted through the water, but present. The Dragon Nikana and the Heck, Corey says. She hears the sounds of her quarters doors hissing open and shut as the Warframe silently goes to fetch the equipment. Ordis. Yes, operator? The Spectre helps her sit up, gently wrapping a blanket around her shoulders as she stretches her legs out, wiggling her toes. Hail Judge and Punk, Corey says. If she has to be awake, so do they. What about Tenno Cheek? Let her sleep, Corey says. Corey likes Cheek. Corey also respects Sheik and is kind of wary of anything Sheik might do if Corey wakes her up for Nitane. Pedestal. Prime. Corey repeats dubiously as she follows Empress around the relay. Sheik was waiting for the crowd around Katir to die down a little before approaching. Corey was there earlier and she did take a quick look. He had a few mods that she thought were nice, but she doesn't have the endo or funds to be upgrading them, so it would just be a waste of credits. And as always, he'd annoyed her with his snide commentary, so she left without giving him any of his stupid ducats. Saren's head nods up and down. This is Empress. Sorry. Saren's head nods up and down. Pedestal Prime. She's collecting them. Void knows she's got the funds to burn on it. Everyone has their hobbies, I suppose. What makes it prime? Corey asks, following the Empress into the Arbiter's room. Normally, the Arbiters give her general looks of caution. She used to have a higher rank here and had a falling out due to some misunderstandings with Red Veil and Steel Meridian. They haven't set a bounty on her, but that's because Suda stepped in and kept her in good standing. Corey's working on getting her standing back slowly but surely. It's tricky trying to balance 4 syndicates at once. With the Empress here, none of them so much as even glance her way. It's a relief, honestly. She should take to hanging around people with more notoriety. It's like she becomes invisible. It's the best. I think it's made of endo, the Empress says, handing several medallions over to one of the Arbiter's representatives. Or oro, melted down scrap prime parts. I must admit that I haven't the faintest idea, Persephone. I don't have one, and I've never paid any particular attention to the ones Sheik has on her orbiter. The idea of the Empress not having these is baffling, because Corey immediately equates the other Tenno with prestige of every sort. You don't? I can't afford it, the Empress replies. You? You can't afford it, Corey repeats dumbly. 1 million credits on a pedestal, the Empress says, sounding bemused. I have too many mods to upgrade, equipment to modify, and gear to keep maintained. I have neither the inclination nor the resources to spare on a pedestal. Sheik's content with her current loadouts and arsenal as they are with minor tweaks. Her business is business. I don't begrudge her that. But for me, it would be a most splendiferous waste when I could be working on something to sharpen my blade. The Empress pulls out one of her croaker, holding the blade out in front of her and making a sweeping, decisive swing. Everyone around them takes a surreptitious step backwards and away. The Empress gives a soft sigh. I currently have it for viral damage. Yes, Corey says, eyeing the soft green that emanates from the blade. I don't run a Saren as much anymore, but I haven't shaken that yet. Despite it being more practicable to maybe use radiation or puncture, Corey still keeps her weapons set to toxin or viral damage as much as possible. I'm thinking of altering these for increased speed at critical hits rather than for power and status duration, the Empress says, sheathing the blade, But I do love the feeling of swinging these blades into eidolon flesh and watching it dissolve.
Corey knows exactly what the Empress means.
You already strike fast as it is,
Corey says, taking the lead as they head for Samaras' sanctuary to pick up some extra traps.
With the amount of hits you'd get in, I think the status duration of the toxin and viral damage wouldn't matter as much.
You have a very good point, the Empress says. But if I would want that extra speed for extra critical strikes, too. Are you guys having a discussion? Punk says into the channel. Teach me your ways. I'm so bored. Still waiting for the crowd to die down. Yeah, I wish she'd just call me when she has the thing. Or she could carry it herself. Joy, be seen doing manual labor? How unfitting. The Empress laughs.
Oh well, we didn't quite make it to chapter 120, but we made it to chapter 119.
Oh, it's 1 a.m. there. Oh my goodness.
Sleep well, Mikale Mastra. Sleep well. Lurk mode A. Hey, well, we're pretty much at the end of the stream now. I'm just gonna wind down. But yeah, thank you so much for stopping by. Sleep well, sleep well. One more? No, we hit time. We hit time. We're at the 3-hour mark. I spent too much time talking about D&D. That got me sidetracked. Encore? Nah. Next 2 weeks from now. No, 3 weeks from now. Because next week there might not be a stream because there's going to be that big ol' Twitch party. So yeah. Next week is going to be a big Twitch celebration for 500 follows. No, excuse me. Keeps happening all night long. But yeah, that's a big milestone. So we're having a party. There's going to be karaoke, and I'm planning something big for the karaoke. It's very big, and I hope I can finish it before the stream happens. We'll see. It's a work in progress. But yeah, there's going to be a bunch of events. If you guys have any song recommendations you want to send my way, let me know. If you got any parodies or video game songs or songs about video games or I don't know, songs you want me to sing, I'll consider them. I'm not going to make any guarantee if I don't know the song, but there you go. That is an option. Anyway, there's also going to be a collab with Mira Luna, towards the end of this month, and that's the news. No stream on YouTube next week. So the week after that, we'll have a video game stream. And then the week after that, we'll go back to reading. All right. You guys have a good one. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you to everybody who came. Thank you to everybody who came regardless of whether you chatted or not. Like, even if you're a quiet lurker, thank you. All right. I'll see you guys around. If you guys watch on Twitch, I will see you on Saturday. If you don't watch on Twitch, then I will see you not next week, but the week after. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you got, cannot talk. Good night. Sleep well. Pleasant dreams. All that jazz. And remember, if you're ever sad that you can't kill people IRL, just remember you can always kill them with kindness. Have a great day, everybody, and I will see you around. Bye-bye. I say and then don't click off. All right, there we go. Bye-bye for reals.